Okay, welcome back. Solo roll Mangging, Shadowdark. We're getting quite a lot of mileage out of this on Borderlands. Goes to show you can have easily a full campaign out of just a keep and a set of caves and the wilderness in between. You know, because by the time you get through all this, you might be like, yeah, okay, well, let's start up a different campaign, you know. Or if you're more inclined, obviously, you have a very good foundation to work off of once you've cleared this out. So we suffered some setbacks last time. We lost Craig and our elf friend, but we got two new friends. We got Zaphiel the cleric, elf cleric, and we got Noreen, the boring fighter. But he's sure good. We also picked up, yes, various pieces of gear, and we picked up some new spells for Kurathair, such as Illumination and Slicing Blow. We went back to the caves, narrowly avoiding some devil boars, and we should actually be in the caves again. Yeah, let me... No. Alright, there we go. Right, so we went... We should probably look at this map more often. It's got images on it and it's colored. So we went back into the caves, into the zombie area, poked around. We went back to the cultist area, just found a bunch of blood and death. We looted our old friend's body. And then we made our way across this big chasm, which you can see on this map clearly does not intersect with this, but I wasn't looking at that when I first handled this encounter with the zombies, so yeah, we fudged it. Yeah, I mean, it still would have been doable for her to climb from here, this way, around here, this way. I don't know if I even would have had a different DC, really. So just pretend that's what we did, I guess. Then we swung on the rope across, climbed up here, and we encountered some zombies in this room. We turned to some of them, and they fled to the north, where they ran into the open arms of some gnolls. And I thought the gnolls would have butchered them, but no, the zombies did a number on them, and we actually rescued a gnoll. Who, well, yeah, grateful maybe is not the word I would use, but he recognized the usefulness of our party. So he directed us through the gnoll territory and has guided us over here and pointed to the north. This looks very compact, you know, based on what we're looking at right here. So we can definitely tell these lizards are not... I mean, we don't know they're lizards. They just pointed us in this direction. But we know that in 39 here, so this room, there's like a communal area. There's 5 lizard folk drumming and hissing together around a fire. So we can sort of see light flickering from that way. We can hear drumming. We can hear hissing. Yeah, it's hard to say. I think we're going to have Scylla actually creep forward and scout it out. Because there's light up there, so she can leave our light behind and scout it out just around the corner. Just so we have a little recon of what we might be getting into or not. So she's going to roll her dex with advantage. All right, 17. That's going to be against their wisdom. They're performing a ceremony to ward off the gnolls who steal the lizard folk's ceremonial bones, so I wouldn't imagine this is going to be too difficult. That's why I often like to set a DC rather than having them roll. I think rolling is more possibly what they expect you to do. And I think rolling is good if they're like actively watching an area, but I think this is more almost like a passive perception is how I might phrase it. Not that we like that sort of term, but yeah, it like these ambushers or something. They're like directly, like actively watching and listening for anything coming this way. These things are more just, they're there, they're present, but it's more just like does she fuck up on her stealth or something, and they happen to overhear her steps. So I think the DC for this one was probably just like 9 or something. Maybe 12, but probably 9. So she looks in and she sees these 5 lizard folk drumming around the fire, and they're kind of swaying and hissing at one another, hissing at the ceiling, hissing at the fire. It's obviously some sort of ceremonial process. To the north, it's kind of hard to tell because I don't think there's much light here. Yeah, there's just a couple baskets and some bones, but we probably couldn't even make that out except for maybe some bones in that direction. And then beyond that, it's not much. You can definitely see she passed by some water on her left. Some sort of natural river or spring or something. But okay, so we have 5 lizard folk. We've technically made nice with the gnolls, sort of, but I don't know if I'd trust a gnoll too much. Do we trust lizard folk? Let's see what the Axe Monster Manual has to say about lizard folk and how horrible they are. Lizard man. Crossbred from men and giant lizards, blah, blah, blah. I mean, this is going to be somewhat setting specific, and you can make your own decisions about your setting. Primitive savagery, standing 6 feet to 7 feet tall, blah, blah, blah. They speak their own language, a degenerate form of ancient Thracian. 10% chance of speaking common, each of them. They are chaotic. Yeah, I think they're usually depicted as basically like, yeah, sort of tribal. Primitive, tribal, generally sort of dangerous. They are beast men sort of things. They're chaotic. They don't follow any rule of civilization. They follow their own laws. So yeah, they're sort of similar to gnolls, and we can see why they'd be butting heads constantly. I think we could pretty easily get the jump on these. Especially with a nice slumber placement. So yeah. She's gonna sneak back a little bit, gesture to Kurathair, and do like, the sort of sleeping hands next to your head gesture, and mention, 5 lizard men. Or she'll just say 5, and sleep. And so Kurathair is now going to sneak up. So he's also going to have to roll against a DC of 9, like I said. Same thing, we have 1 luck token. He got it. Okay, so he's going to sneak up. And he's now going to prepare to cast his spell. Now, as usual, we have to roll a surprise. Technically, he shouldn't have even gotten to do that. But yes, there is no ambush mechanic that we're allowing where you can just get a free shot off. And that goes both ways, thankfully. So if an enemy tries to ambush players, they have to function by the same mechanics. So basically, we have foreknowledge and line of sight. They will have line of sight. So we don't have to roll for surprise at all. They do. I'm gonna say that they're fairly distracted, and there's some incense in the air, perhaps. So maybe they're a little bit dazed from that. I'm gonna say they get -1 on this roll. So if they roll a 3 or less, they are surprised by Kurathair. Okay, they are not surprised. So he starts incanting, and they immediately are just like, yeah, they're not that dazed because the gnolls are kind of constantly a threat. So they're not that just like loosey-goosey and just, oh yeah, okay. They are always kind of ready for war. So they're not quite surprised by him but if we could still win initiative and still do this. It's just going to be these 2 involved in this for the current moment. Technically, it probably should just be him, but Scylla could participate in the round. So that's 1 divided by 2, so it's just +0. And then lizard folk is they have a +1. So they have 1 up on us. We roll a 2. They roll a 3. They go first. Bummer. Now, you might say, and players might say, wow, that was really fucking unfair. You know, we snuck up to them, we had all this, and now, you know, they're gonna just bum rush Kurathair and kill him. And it was like, what was the whole point of sneaking up? And it's like, yeah, I mean, that's... Yeah. This same thing, I mean, this just happened... This happened recently when we broke into the mausoleum in the first place, wasn't it? With a ghoul, he was waiting for us. He had foreknowledge. And we didn't get surprised, and we won initiative. And we, like, butchered him. Like, so, yeah, it goes both ways, man. Now, if Scylla was operating on her own, we would give the enemies disadvantage. She would have, basically, she would have advantage on trying to ambush something. But Kurathair, especially speaking out loud, and he's kind of slow, and he's just, yeah, I mean, it's kind of scary. So, yeah, this is going to be probably pretty bad. Because there's now 5 lizard folk, and there's no way to smooth this one over. You know, there's a elf wizard apparently incanting a spell on them. I will give us a slight benefit, though, because they weren't exactly in a combat position. They're on the ground, and they probably don't have weapons, like, directly in their hands. So, basically, they're just going to get up to him and surround him, and they're, like, about to stab as he fires off this spell. Okay, so he's firing off the spell. He's probably gonna fail. He got a success. Awesome. All right, so he centers it basically like on himself, because they're all around. So he centers it on himself, which could be really bad. We'll say that Scylla was nearby, but yeah, probably not in the zone. He doesn't center it quite on himself, but pretty close. You know, he centers it on this whole region here, and she's like here. So now they're all 2 hit dice. So they're going to have to roll a save versus the slumber. He rolled phenomenally well, though. I mean, this was fantastic. So they have to roll versus 22. It's almost impossible. They'd have to crit, I think. No matter what I set the save as. And I'm still never quite sure what I want slumber save to be. I think let's go with... So I think D&D 5e... It's... Wisdom? Or there's no save? Yeah, there's no save. But I think we were looked at... what were we looking at? Like... Pathfinder or first edition or something like that. And no, maybe there isn't a save. Maybe second edition? Wow. So a lot of sleep spells throughout D&D have never had a save attached to it. Axe just is like, no, that's no good. But I think that's because Axe makes it potentially far more devastating. It's not limited by hit dice at all. Yeah, okay. So I was looking at some other thing on the Shadowdark subreddit. Someone mentioned their conversions for old school saves to the modern system of stats. And this was what they did, and that was like the highest upvoted thing with the, agreements. So if it's anything that's paralysis related or hold related, it's strength. Okay. If it's anything like wands, breath, reflex, something you dodge, basically dex. Okay, you know, that's good. Anything poison, a death save or fortitude save is all constitution. Generally, I would agree as well. Then there's this very broad one of magic. Anything magic related is int. Now, any of these things could be from magic, so that's why it's sort of vague. So I guess that's sort of the catch-all of just magic related that needs a save. I don't know if I can think of anything off the top of my head, but that's what it would be. Madness or anything that would affect your willpower or a will save in some games is wisdom. And then fear effects or charm effects falls under charisma. And charisma is not often used for saves in a lot of games, but I think that's appropriate too. That's sort of your own force of your own personality and you know, maintaining the sense of self. So what would sleep fall under against all this? It's sort of a form of paralysis. I think you could argue that. I think it is sort of a willpower thing to the will to sort of stay awake, right? Like if you're really going on like no sleep for a long time or something, it's not like a physical thing. It's your willpower that's keeping you awake and keeping you from sleeping. So I think wisdom is probably the most sensible one here. Outside of that, I could see just magic, general magic, but I think wisdom makes the most sense. So our lizard folks have a wisdom of +1, which means that yes, they would need to crit in order to stay awake. So we'll roll 5d20. See if any of them rolled a 20. Nope, they all drop. Unfortunately, I think we have to rule Kurathair is also in that mix. And as far as I'm aware, I'm pretty sure that your spells can affect yourself. And I don't know why there would ever be a rule specifically saying that they can't. So I think he also affects himself. The nice thing is, though, that we can just wake him up pretty easily. By just moving him and shaking him. So yeah, I mean, he's got a -3. He'd have to roll a crit. And he rolled a 1, so he's very asleep. Not that that matters at all. Okay, excellent. Scylla then will go through and stab all the lizard folk. Because, yeah, that's what we do. And then we'll shake Kurathair awake. And we're good to go. This light's going to go down to 2. I'm going to roll another random encounter check. We're fine. And job done. Now, technically, the other 2 shouldn't get any part of this XP. And honestly, yeah, okay, it was a joint effort. But yeah, really, the other 2 shouldn't get any part of it. But that's not usually how I DM. But if I was playing in a game, I wouldn't be shocked if the DM said, okay, this XP is going to Kurathair and Scylla. Or if you did something on your own entirely, it's like, yeah, that's your XP. You don't have to share it. It's solo XP. But we'll be sensible here and just do group. So that was 5 of them. There was no indication one was more powerful or anything. So 5 of them is 175 XP. Easy peasy. Awesome. Well, that's how we handle it. And he kept his spell. He's back awake. No threat whatsoever. That's why sleep is fucking awesome. Oh, 1 is the chieftain. Oh, 1 was the chieftain. Fuck, he was level 4. Okay. Well, that means then that we would get 140 plus 80, which is 220. And that was at the upper limit of what we could sleep. And that, I think, is now going to be the most drastic change. That's the most drastic effect we've seen from the swap. Because the Shadowdark sleep spell would not have had any effect on him. And we would have had to fight him 2-on-1 until the others arrive. I mean, we would have been 4-on-1. We almost certainly would have won. But he might have killed Kurathair or something like that. Because, yeah, I mean, 20 hit points, 2 attacks with the spear. Could have been pretty bad. But with Axe, level 4, he still has to roll a save. He still failed. Bada bing, bada boom. That helped a lot. I mean, that massive roll, rolling an 18. Stupendous. And that is something that Yeah, I mean, is an improvement over Axe, because Axe would have been like a flat save for them. They would have rolled as a fighter level 2, which means that they would have rolled. Let's see, that would have been. I don't know. Was it a spell? Say paralysis. Oh, they're calling it a paralysis. Okay, so I guess we could have rolled strength, which actually might have changed something. No, it still would have been +1. Wouldn't have changed a damn thing. So you would have had to roll a 12 or higher, and then he would have succeeded, or they all would have succeeded. The chieftain 11 or higher. So actually, you know, if we had stuck by those sort of thing and used those normal saves, 2 of them would have made it. But you know, I think it's fair to use this new system, because you can roll high, you could roll easy. You know, if you roll on the low end, then you're basically running it like Axe. Like most creatures you're gonna fight are gonna be able to succeed on a 12 or higher or something like that. But if you roll high, you know, it's a lot harder. But we risk losing the spell if we don't roll well, so it's all good. Okay. I don't think we get anything. They don't really have any treasure or anything on them, so we call the others over, and we're gonna search the room. So that's gonna tick out our light again, but we don't really find anything in here. So we'll keep going. We'll check out this section of bones very cautiously. And we find hundreds of bones littering the floor, many shapes and sizes, and 2 4-foot-tall lidded baskets made of vines, bone, and leather. We're going to take our sword, obviously, and sort of knock on each one. The left one sounds kind of hollow. The right one sounds not good. Like we kind of hear rats inside. So pleasant. We could grab that basket and toss it over by the knolls to have some fun. I don't think a rat swarm is a particularly vicious thing, though. Oh, it's level 6. Oh my god. That thing's like filled with rats. Yeah, we could fuck over the knolls pretty well by tossing this over on their side. That is exactly something that I would do. I just sort of fucking over your GM to figure out how he's going to adjudicate all that. Which is sort of how I feel about doing it right now. Because would I just simulate all the combats between the knolls and the rat swarm? Would I just roll a d20? Sort of see the general outcome as far as in the player's benefit. I guess that's probably how we do. We'd kind of do an oracle roll sort of situation. Okay, we'll simplify it then. We'll do it that way. So we're going to search the left basket first. We find 6 femur bones worth 200 gold pieces each, with carvings depicting lizard folk in heroic scenes. Why on earth would these be worth that much? That's nonsensical. I guess if it's really, like, beautiful. These carvings into the bones are just, like, works of art. I don't know why, but they are really pretty, and plenty of people would be interested in putting... I can't imagine putting them in their homes. But it puts 20 gold pieces each here, like right after I list 6 femur bones, suggesting that the femur bones are really the valuable part, and the carvings are just like incidental. Why would the femur bones be worth that much? 20 gold. I mean, that's 20 gold in Shadowdark money, right? And if we go here to say a weapon, a longsword is 9 gold. You're saying someone would trade 2 longswords for one of these femur bones and feel like they got the good end of the deal. That's what we're saying here. It's crazy. I mean, that's not even getting into the conversion of 200 gold, considering longswords are still like the same price. So you're saying someone would trade, how many longswords? Yeah, 20. 20 swords. Metal, all that, you know, the whole 9 yards, all the blacksmithing work. 20 swords for one of these femur bones. Hot damn. No, we're going to reroll that. I want something that makes a bit more sense. So let's reroll on, well, I don't want it to be magic or anything. I just want, like, treasure. Which, actually, the treasures table does have something for special treasures. Which are just, like, goods or something, or things like that. Like, animal antlers, horns, and tusks. Things like that we could do, which I think makes a lot more sense. That actually does have value to someone over just generic femur bones. So let's roll. So this would be technically what you're saying this basket contains is 1,200 gold worth of loot, right? Or 120 gold in Shadowdark money, which is a lot. So this is a good haul here in this bag. This is everything they've kind of collected and put in this basket. So 1,200 gold worth. So if we go to the treasure thing, we can roll on this special treasure per 1,000 gold. Or we could roll this special treasure for 1,000 silver. We could roll on that one like 12 times. I think we should roll on the gold one once and then the silver one twice. And the most common result for these is coins, that it stays as coins. But we're imagining right now there's 1,200 coins, 1,200 gold or whatever in this pile. But let's re-roll. So this is going to be D20 for the gold, the 1,000 gold. All right, so there is 1,000 gold pieces in here, which just seems nuts. Yeah. I think I'd probably not make it exactly 1,000. I think we'd probably say like 968 gold or something like that comes spilling out of there. But even that just seems really high for a small group of lizard folk in these caves. Nah, I'm gonna reroll. I really don't want 1,000 gold. Okay. 1d6 fresh monster carcasses with special components worth 1d10 times 50 gold piece each. No, I'm just gonna pick. We're gonna go with these monster feathers. 1d12 times 12. That's what we're gonna go. Okay, 7 times 12 is a number that I'm not gonna think about. Okay, so we find a collection of 84 like large feathers from some sort of large bird creature, such as a griffin or a rock, that these things must have hunted and killed and collected all its feathers. So 84 feathers. I can't imagine that takes up too much, but it says 1 stone per 80 gold value. They're worth 3d6 gold each, which is a lot. Because the average of that would be 11, so 11 times 84 is, yeah, a lot. So this is like 10 stone worth of feathers. So they're really bulky, they don't bend, you know, you don't want to bend them. This is almost going to be impossible to transport. Whereas the coins, if I had said 968 coins, that would have been like 0 slots. Because you can carry up to 1,000 coins without it taking up a slot. So I'm fucking myself over here. Yeah, okay. So there's 84 feathers, 3d6. 6. We low rolled it. So they're worth 84 times 6 gold, 504. Divided by 80, 6.3 stone. We'll round down, we'll say 6. So 504 gold. So we're with 6 slots. Norin could take all of it and be okay, but I think we can split it between him and Kurathair. So let's split it between him and Kurathair. So we're gonna say, we'll just say it's Griffin Feathers, and we're gonna put that at let's see, 80 gold. So they will give him 40 gold worth, which is what? No, 40. Fuck. No, that's not what I'm juggling too many numbers in my head. So dumb. Stop. Just let me think. 80 gold is 1 stone. This is 504 gold total. So 400 gold worth is 5 stone. Right? That's what we want. 400 gold worth is 5 stone. So how many feathers is that? It doesn't really matter. Just put 5 stone. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, that's worth 400 gold. And then Kurathair is going to take the other stone worth, which is worth 104. And yeah, we're stretching a little bit, but that's fine. Okay, that's good. Norin is now pretty much capped if we want to actually travel at a decent speed. But that was just for the gold. So now I'm going to roll twice on this special treasure for silver. 14. So we do find 1,000 silver, or a roundabout, and 2,000 silver. And let's see if we can't get... Stop it. A captured or enslaved domestic servant. That seems kind of unlikely. 100 gold. Okay, we'll take that. So we find, let's say, 968 silver and 104 gold pieces. 104 gold. And that's right. It's. I don't think there's a way to adjust the defaults. No, there's not a way to adjust how much gold takes up a slot or something like that. Right, so that's why we just have to add it as a treasure. So this would technically be one more slot for all of this. So I said like 968 silver and 103 gold, 104 gold. And it's just going to be coins, and that's 1 slot worth. Okay. Good, that's fine. I'm going to tick down the light again. We're going to roll a random encounter. We're fine. I'm going to cast Illumination again. Critical failure. Roll on the appropriate mishap table, which is going to be a D12 of 1. Great. Devastation. Roll twice and combine both effects. 5 and 8. Mind Wound. You can't cast this spell again for a week. And you lose the ability to cast a random spell. Okay, great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's Slumber. Damn. Well, that all blows. That was terrible. He had his moment of glory, and now he went back to being a fucking useless shit. Alright, bust out the torch, and you're gonna do it, because you got nothing else to do in your life. Why didn't I buy a sling when I was in town? Who knows? Alright, we're torch lighting. Okay, that's that. So then we're gonna continue on now. Oh, we were gonna toss the rats in. That's right. Yeah, fuck it. Let's do it. Noreen's gonna pick up the basket filled with rats. You can hear them squirming and thrashing in there and squeaking and all that sort of stuff. And he's just going to go here and he's gonna hurl it as far as he can into there. So let's have him roll a strength check, see how well he does it. Now he has grit strength, advantage on checks of that type to overcome an opposing force. I don't think that applies here. There's no DC for this. It's just of how well he throws it into this area. He wants to throw as far as possible. Oh, he fucking does, man. It is Olympic how well he throws this straight down right into here. And it just bursts right here where there's a bunch of gnolls in there feasting. Because there's a total of 9 gnolls in the cave section. Technically. I mean, they could be out hunting or something outside. But I don't think so in this case, because there's 2 waiting in ambush. There's 3 over by the altar. There were 2... No. This is why we have to keep track of the roster. One died. 1 is kind of injured. So that means there's 8 total. No. That injured one probably would still participate in something. So, oh yeah, so there's 8 total. 2 here. So that's 6 left. There's 3 here. So that's 3 left. So there's 3 and 43 that are just feasting. It says 2 here, but we're going to put the injured one there. That he's enjoying a meal as well. So the rat swarm bursts out of there. And yeah, there's some chaos. Now the 2 gnolls waiting in ambush are going to definitely witness this basket flying through the air in slow motion. Their probably first assumption is the lizard folk threw it in. But either way, they're going to charge out. And we probably expected that because we knew those gnolls were waiting in ambush. So we were all ready for the gnolls to come out and attack or some. We were ready for something. So I don't think there's any surprise on our side. And I don't think there's really any surprise on their side. So I think they just come out and we get into a fight. So our initiative is +0. Theirs is +1, unfortunately. So we roll a 4. They roll a 2. Excellent. So they come bursting around the corner, knives bared, or whatever they use, and the fight commences. Scylla's going to immediately shoot one with her bow. Alright, 3 damage. Excellent. Let's go to the axe gnoll. Oh, I didn't write down our XP. Fuck. Okay, so it's 504 for the feathers, plus technically 200 for the coins. So 704 XP is what we got for finding that treasure. Awesome. Alright, so they have 14 AC and 9 hit points because of their shaggy hide. They also get +1 damage on their weapon attacks. I rolled a 21, so 3 damage. So one of them's at 6, the other one's at 9. Kurith there is going to... Yeah, he's going to roll a slicing blow on that injured one. So he's just to roll this first. Another critical failure? Are you shitting me, dude? Holy fuck. He is honestly the worst mage I think we've ever experienced on solo role Mangging. This is legendarily bad. Okay, another mishap. It's a 6. Discorporation. 1 random piece of your gear disappears forever. Okay, so it's specifically his gear. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I guess a D9. Is that how we're doing this? Run random piece of your gear. How I would interpret it. 8. He loses his backpack. That's pretty bad. That's kind of the worst thing. That contains everything. I don't know if that's what we're allowing. Okay, skip the backpack. Just roll D8. 6. Okay, that's his rations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, that's his torches. Well, yeah, okay. Fuck it. That's his bundle of torches. Gone. I was going to say in Shadowdark, 1 torch is 1 slot. You'd lose 1 torch, but we bundle them. That's how we do it. So it's gone. It's not, he doesn't lose the torch he's holding, though, so that keeps going. Fucking hell, he's shit. Alright, Zaphiel's going to charge the injured one. With advantage. He misses. Norin's going to charge the injured one. Okay, he kills him. He's going to step over and cleave the other one. He's down to 1 health. Morale seems very unlikely, but it does say that they rage in the first round. They both rage at the start of combat, which is not a thing in the Axe one, so I don't know if I really want to blend 2 different monsters here. Immune to morale checks plus 1d4 damage for 3 rounds. But then it says if they fail morale checks. So if the fight goes on long enough where they go through their rage after 3 rounds and then roll morale and fail, they'll yelp, attracting nearby gnolls. Remember that gnolls don't make morale checks while raging. I guess they raged when they were coming around the corner. So he's raging. He's not going to roll morale. He's definitely going to attack Norin. And he is going to roll +1. Well, again, that's if I want to borrow this feature. And we're already running Axe stats, so fuck it. No, we're running Axe stats. So, it is what it is. So, he is going to roll morale, and he needs to roll, like, I don't know, yeah, he needs to roll a 15 or higher to stay and fight. He does. Okay, then he's going to stab Norin. That is a 16. Yeah, it's a 16, so it's a miss. New initiative. We roll a 3. He rolls a 4. So he's going to try to stab Norin again. He misses again. Now Norin will... Oh, wait a minute. I forgot. Everything against Norin has advantage. Shit. So that was the morale check. This was his first attack. This was his second attack. So now he's going to roll twice more for this turn. Okay, they both miss. Awesome. All right, now it's Norin's turn to end this. And he misses. Scylla shoots a bow. She kills it. Okay, they drop. So now, how are things going with these 3 gnolls and the giant rat swarm? Let's assume that the rat swarm is going to go after the gnolls and not just the giant pile of meat there. I mean, I assume some of the rats are definitely going for the meat, but the rats are kind of swarming over everything here, and the gnolls are caught in it, so it is what it is. Unless we have for Axe, we do have a rat swarm. It's not nearly as dangerous. Although I guess it is sort of pretty dangerous. If we say that it's a 4 hit dice rat swarm, it covers 20 foot by 20 foot area, which is pretty big. Certainly would engulf the 3 gnolls. Any creature that starts initiative in the swarm's area or enters the swarm on its initiative is engulfed. It must make a paralysis saving throw at the end of its initiative. So this would be strength, according to our conversion. We don't have a DC, but yeah, Yeah, we don't have a DC. And Shadowdark just uses standard stats. So we have to just set a DC for this of probably decently high, you know. Well, you got to figure, like, you know, you're encountering this, say you're a level 2 character, say you're a level 2 fighter, you'd succeed on a, what, a 12 or higher? Yeah, you succeed on 12 or higher. So we're going to set the DC, strength DC of 12. Okay, so that's that. Gnolls have a strength of +1. Good, good, good. So all three of them are going to have to roll strength, and they have to get an 11 or higher in order to stay afloat. Okay, so 2 of them fail, 1 of them succeeds. That means that 2 of them are going to take 4 damage, and the third one is 2 damage, and 2 of them are now prone within the rat swarm. Well, technically, this is at the end of your initiative, not the start of your initiative. And it says that during your turn, if you use your movement to flee at least 20 feet or use your combat action to ward off the swarm with a torch or weapon, you get a +4 bonus on the saving throw. So they're not really that super dangerous, except basically they're just going to... they're just going to drive the gnolls out of here. And this whole area is just going to be kind of flooded with rats. So pretty much we've just kind of done our job. The rats are going to be well gorged by all this meat here, by the gnolls, all the corpses here. I mean, we can already see rats coming over here to eat these gnolls. We do get XP for the gnolls we killed. Beastman gnoll. It's not going to be much. It's going to be 40. But hey, it's good enough. Okay, but then we're kind of trapped in here unless we want to go over this spring. It's natural spring. So I guess we're going to go take a look at that now. While we hear all the shrieking and the rats and everything. Yeah. So this is going to be 37. Cold, shallow water gently flows to the north. The stream is 2 feet wide, flows underground to area 33. DC 15 dex check to squeeze through, arriving in the lake 2d6 rounds later, must hold breath the entire time. Okay, but otherwise it's a shallow spring that's 2 feet wide, so there's no check or anything to walk across it. Oh, okay, so this is interesting. There's 2 lizard folk here. And there's 2 more gnolls here. So those are probably the gnolls that like went to go investigate here. So now there's no gnolls there. Because one of them died and the other one was over here feeding. Or maybe he went back there, but you know, it's hard to say. Either way, this whole area is engulfed in rats. And so probably the gig is up. Although, again, like I said, I think most of these creatures are going to have lights. So there's probably torches on both sides here. But yes, they would probably... We'd see them, they'd see us. And they are... Well, we probably should roll surprise, because we might want to jump them. There's no foreknowledge here, so this is just straight surprise on both sides. Our side rolls not surprised, their side rolls surprised. They were very focused on the rats and the chaos happening over there, so they don't notice us immediately. So we have an opportunity to take advantage of that, and I think Scylla is going to fire off a nice little backstab shot on him. And she fucked it. Nothing. Alright, Perithair is going to launch Fan of Flames, since we have the range right now. He succeeded, barely. So they have to roll a dex saving throw versus 11. They have +1, so a 10 or higher will save them. Nope. They both take 6 damage. Roasted. Norin's going to charge in with the longsword. Yep, he kills one. He's going to attack the other one. He kills the other one. Done. That cleave rule is really sort of getting impactful when combined with charging. That might be a little too OP. Because advantage is just really big. But even with just the +2 from a normal charge from like axe, it's... I mean, what I just did, as far as I know, is perfectly acceptable in axe. So yeah, I mean, it's all good. But if you don't kill everything, then it could be really bad. Okay, and we can now see across the rope bridge the chaos that's happening over there. And I think there's a decent chance that the gnolls come running across the rope bridge away from the rats. Let's do an oracle. Are there any gnolls coming this way? No. Okay, so they decided to flee into the... I think that's kind of unlikely, really. They wouldn't go this way because they probably know the chasm is there, so they can't even go that way. They might go this way, but I think there's a good chance they come across the rope bridge. So I'm going to say we'll roll that with advantage. Wow. Okay. So maybe they just believe in this altar so much they wanted to defend it against the rats. And they're trying to just kill all the rats and defend their home rather than flee. Because, you know, it's basically, as far as they know, fleeing into the zombies or fleeing into the lizard folk. Which is neither great option. So they're going to stand and try to fight. I think it's unlikely they defeat all the rats. So we'll roll with disadvantage. Yeah, they do not. Okay, so the gnolls have succumbed. Technically, we would get XP for killing all the gnolls. Because we were directly responsible for their deaths. I would award XP for what we just did. So we just got the 2 lizard folk, which is 70 more. Okay, and then the gnolls. We need to get a final total count. Technically, we also should have gotten XP for that other gnoll that died to the zombie. So, really, I think it's 8 gnolls total I'm counting up here. No, minus the 2 we just killed because I gave the 40 for that. So it's 6 more, including one, say, champion. So 150. Not much. We also, I mean, the rats are definitely thriving over there now. They killed some of the rats. They reduced the swarm a bit, but we don't really want to go over there. So we're just glad to have cleared out gnolls and lizard folk in one fell swoop. We've done good work here today. Except for Kurathair. He's been pretty shit, except for his one moment of glory. So now we can see this E entrance, which is up on the hill. Yeah, so we can kind of look out now in the valley. So we've technically cleared out the entire eastern side. Not quite, because apparently there are still random zombies roaming around. And I don't know if we've actually killed enough lizard folk. Because we killed 5 plus 2, so there still should be 3 lizard folk. I'm gonna roll another random encounter check. Oh, okay, here we go. D4. 2. 1d4 giant leeches. Which isn't even listed in the roster. Oh. Yeah. If we don't fight lizard folk right now, then it's just not going to make any sense. So let's just have it where the lizard folk now come up here right as we're coming this way. And so there's no foreknowledge or anything like that. It's just straight surprise rolls again for the remaining 3 lizard folk. Alright, so our surprise roll, not surprised. They are also not surprised. So, you know, they heard... I mean, it's not foreknowledge, I guess. Yeah, it's just, well, fuck, let's do it. you know, ready for war at all times, I suppose. All right. 3 lizard folk versus us. Our initiative is 2. Theirs is 4. Okay. We were really not expecting it. So, Norin's always up front. So he's going to be taking the brunt of these lizard men. Which is not great. Well, technically they wouldn't. Would they immediately assume that we're evil? Because if I was friends with the lizard men, say I'd gone in there while they were doing their trance and I said, hey, how's it, you know, we're not with the gnolls, blah, 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 and we actually made friends with them. And then we had this random encounter. And these things, would I rolled like, okay, roll initiative, they attack immediately? Maybe. I mean, so you could do that way. I guess it's more like, that depends on us. That depends on us right now, like reaction roll of, do we say something or do we just brandish our weapons? Do we lower our weapons or raise them is kind of what we would do. And I think for our we would raise our weapons. We're here to kill. We're not here to make friends with the last few lizard men. So, yeah, it just go. Okay, so they're going to attack Norin. They all have weapons. And we'll give them... What do they got? Usually equip a shield, stone hand axes. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so they're going to be... They have shields and hand axes. So they have 14 AC. And the hand axe, I think, is D6 plus 1. Alright, and they're rolling plus 2 total. Alright, so against Norin, first one, hit. Second one, miss. Third one, hit. So that's 2d6 damage on Norin. 2d6 plus 2. 8 damage, that's enough to drop him. Yeah, because actually it would have been 4. Yeah, okay, yeah, 4 and 4, yep. So he got dropped. Not good. He's our main dude. Our turn. Kurathair is going to open with Fan of Flames again. Success versus 16. They have plus 1, so 1, 2, 3. They all fail, so they all take 5 damage. Excellent. Scylla's going to shoot a short bow shot at one of the injured, and that drops him. And Zaphiel's going to charge at a second injured. Excellent. That is a kill as well, because they have... No, they have 10. That's right, 2 plus 1, they have 10. So he's off by 1, which is pretty bad. We really need to make initiative here. Alright. Norin's roll is 1, so he has 1 round to survive. Great. So if we don't heal him this turn, it's all over for Norin. If we lose initiative and Zaphiel dies because they have advantage on attacks against him, it's over. But they might roll a morale. No, they haven't lost half their number yet, so I don't think they'll roll morale. Okay, our initiative, 3. Their initiative is 2. We got it. Okay. Kurathair is going to try another Fan of Flames. He got it again. They have to roll. Success, not success. One of them's at 1, and one of them's at 5. No. Yes, 5. One of them's at 5. Okay, so we'll say... Coin flip. Did the... well, just Oracle, I guess. Did the... just fucking pick one. Did the more injured one fail his save? Yes. So the more injured one is the one that's going to take the full damage. Alright, fine. So the more injured one that had 1 hit points dies. The other one takes 1 hit point that drops him down to 4 total. He has 4 hit points left. Scylla is going to try to shoot him. Crit. Excellent. Dropped him between the eyes. And that gave us a luck token, which we desperately need to spend to make sure this Cure Light injury goes off. And we're going to be spending it. You're going to spend your own first, asshole. There you go. All right, and you get healed 3. You're back to 3. All right, awesome. 3 more down. That puts us at another 105 XP. And that was a random encounter, so we can check for treasure. Nope. And we're going to try to cure Noreen again to get him back up to a bit more hit points. Excellent. You heal another 2. Fuck. Go again? Yeah. If this were Axe, he would have already, used it up, so it would have been gone. So take advantage of what we got. Nice. That's it, yeah. Back to full. Awesome. Longevity, baby. See, Kurathair, why don't you take some fucking notes? Okay, good. We have now cleared out the lizard men completely. We've cleared out the gnolls completely. There's still some zombies, allegedly, but otherwise we've done pretty good day's work, I think. We could leave. We could go camp, rest for the night, get Kurathair's spells back, and then go hit up the western side. But let's take a gander at how this connects. Yeah, although the exit is right here, we could attach a rope here with an iron spike, and then we have an easy way to come back. Yeah, fuck it, we'll do it that way. Let's be smart. So we're going to attach a rope here with an iron spike leading down to the ground level, and we're going to vacate. There's no random encounters on the outside, so we should be good unless they finally reposition goblins on that thing, which I think is pretty likely at this point. Back on that perch over here, which is not shown on this map. It's like right here. So let's say with advantage, an oracle check. Are there goblins on the perch? No, they still never replace those. Is our rope still there? Yeah, yes, it is. Okay. They really have neglected that. All right, then we just leave and go into the woods nearby. It's not especially a safe area we're camping in, but it's fine. We are going to roll an encounter at night, but otherwise I think we're good to rest. Yeah, good. Okay, well, let's eat our rations then. We need 1, 2, 3. That's done. And then 1 more. We'll roll our random encounter for the night. It's a 14, which is definitely going to be something terrible. We're in the Outlands, so that is a monster encounter. Rarity for that is going to be a 17. That's pretty fucking rare. In the Outlands, yeah, that's rare. And we're in a forest. Deciduous. Rare. D100. 2. It is a hideous addercop. At night. Yeah, that's probably not going to be pleasant. We're dealing with this thing. 1d3 of them. 1. Okay. A wayward addercop. So let me just get the sequence of events down again. Let me just see here. Encounter table. Number appearing. We don't have to roll for lair because we're stationary, so that doesn't apply. Encounter distance. That does matter here. We're in a forest. It's annoying. This is in the Axe normal rulebook. Yes. Forest. Deciduous 5d8 times 3 feet. 29 times 3 is a number for me. 87 feet away. Okay. Or triple near, if you want to think of it that way. Triple near. Okay. And then we roll roll for surprise and evasion if necessary, and then reaction and or combat. All right, so surprise. Does this thing have foreknowledge of us? Yes, 100%. Because we have a campfire lit. Those damn creature comforts, man. So, highly unlikely that we would have foreknowledge of it. I suppose, though, for the sake of... Yes, I mean, we probably could get a listen check, because we are on watch, so we are kind of trying to pay attention if there's anything out here in this dangerous region. So who's on watch? 1, 2, 3, 4... It's Noreen, of course. Okay. So Noreen is going to get a listen check versus this thing's stealth. I will roll stealth for this thing. Unless it's like, unless we decide that it's like rampaging or it's deranged or it's out of its, something like that. It's generally trying to be stealthy if it's hunting at night. So this thing's probably going to have a pretty good dex score. I don't think... Oh, yeah, they do suffer a -2 penalty to... And we suffer a -2 penalty to surprise rolls. Okay. So... Yeah, I guess then we probably should just do a DC. Yeah. It's pretty darn stealthy. It's nighttime. It's going to be a pretty high DC of like 18 to actually hear this thing. And we don't have advantage like she does. So no, we don't hear this coming. So we're going to have to roll surprise. We need to roll a 5 or a 6 to not be surprised by this spider. We do. So Noreen hears it sort of somewhat in the nick of time. Well, it's based on the encounter distance, right? So he hears it when it's 90 feet away. He hears or he sees like the bulk of its ass, as it were, in the distance. He was alert. It was luck. He just happened to be looking at the right thing at the right time, and he sees this big spider, and it notices him. So the encounter now is going to begin because this thing wants to hunt. But I guess I should roll a reaction roll just in case, because a good reaction roll here, it could decide that it's not worth fighting for. Like he sees that there's 4 individuals and he's like, fuck that. So I should roll a reaction roll regardless. No, that's enough that he's gonna try for it. He's confident in his own abilities here. So yes, now we're gonna roll initiative. This is just going to be Noreen's initiative versus the spider. And then on the first round, Noreen is going to be waking everybody up. And so they'll be able to participate in the second round of combat. But they won't have armor. So that's going to be a problem. And they also don't have spells. And fucking interruption means that we're going to have to roll to see if they get a good night's rest after this. But let's worry about surviving first. So his initiative is +1. The spider will say is +2. Noreen rolls a 7. Spider rolls a 5. So he does immediately just like, get up, giant fucking demon spider. And so they're all going to rouse themselves awake. We can easily unequip armor in this game, and this in Shadowdark. So he's not going to have chainmail, but he can grab the shield. That's what we got. Okay, so we're all set. The spider now charges in. It has a speed on land of 20 feet, but we'll count that as near. So it runs double near. It's about 30 feet away from us or so now. And we roll a new initiative. So if we fail, it is going to charge at Noreen to try to decimate him. Or, I don't know, web him up or something. But now we use the group's initiative, which is 0. Unfortunately, 5, 3, yeah, 0. So our initiative is 6. His initiative is 7. All right, it is going to charge. Yeah, it's going to charge at Noreen. So it is going to get advantage on this bite attack with +3 on the dice roll. So first one, fumble. All right, but it was advantage, so he doesn't take the fumble, but he does miss. Noreen blocks the whole thing with his shield. This big epic clash. And now we get to go, and we get fucking advantage on this Adder Cop, who only has 13 AC and 14 hit points. Say goodnight, bitch. Holy shit. Yeah, that's pretty good. Technically, we can, like... Yeah, I mean, he can do a mighty deed, I suppose. He'll spin him over onto his back so his legs are flailing, and Scylla's just gonna stab him into his thorax, the soft underbelly. That is a hit. He has 2 hit points left. Zaffiel will try to put him out of its misery by smashing its head in, and he does. And that is our Adder Cop dead. Nicely done. Would have been a lot worse if we had rolled more than 1, but thankfully it was just 1. If they rolled more than 1, it would have been better to have, like, we don't immediately notice that there's more than 1. That's probably the better way to do it. And then, like, right after the first round, the second one comes charging in. Yeah, that would have been bad. But we got it. We got 80 XP. Can harvest this thing if we want. Its mandibles can be used for poison, leg tarsus for spider climb, spinneret for chameleon and webbing. Otherwise, the mandibles fetch 12 gold, weigh 1/6 stone. That's not bad. The venom has an onset time of 10 minutes, plus 4 saving mod, paralysis for 1d4 turns, and 1d8 on a failed death saving throw. Venom fetches 250 fucking gold. That's probably worth grabbing. So we're gonna have Kurathair try to harvest this thing. We'll set the DC at 12. And if he rolls a 1, he venoms himself. He does not. He extracts the venom, and he can add it to his inventory, baby. So this is Adder Cop Venom. It's worth 250 gold. And that is going to be XP as well. Description. Done. Okay. And that's 250 XP. We're on that. Awesome. Should you give 250 XP for that? For just harvesting venom? Because if so, I mean, that's really like, why would you ever not do that? You know? I mean, it takes, I think, an hour. So it's not a quick process. And I don't think we'd actually go back to sleep until we hauled this giant demon spider corpse out of our camp. But I guess that's what Kurathair could do on his watch. Is it worth that amount? So... treasure includes all coins, gems, jewels, and merchandise. Other valuables worth at least 1 silver per stone. About the price of wheat. Yeah, that's really like almost anything. 1 silver per stone. This is 250 per 1/6 of stone. So I don't know how you could not count it. It's just like, it doesn't count like firewood and shit. Like it counts almost anything that's worth. Yeah, like 1 gold per 1/6 is good. You know, like you're set. So practically anything that you'd bother picking up is going to be worth XP. So yes, 100%. That is worth 250 XP. Yeah, I mean, there's really there's no arguments. All right, yeah. So fucking harvest everything, because that's worth way more than the monster itself was. The monster was only worth 80. But if we had killed 3, we would have gotten 240 plus 750 if we had been able to harvest all their venom. That's massive. So yes, do that shit. Okay. All right, now so it's the Shadowdark has the specific Shadowdark. You get full heal, full everything, full restoration after a rest. But if you're interrupted, you have to roll a DC 12 con check. Otherwise, you get no benefit from resting for the night. So it is pretty shitty. Scylla, she succeeded, even though she doesn't need anything. Noreen, he doesn't really need anything, so I'm not going to bother rolling. Let me put their armor back on. Alright, Zaphiel also doesn't need anything. It's really just Kurathair, who has a shitty con, I think. Oh no, it's okay. 6. He doesn't get his spells back. So he busied himself with the venom, got flustered, whatever, and he just doesn't get a benefit. So he'd have to wait here another day. Which is a bummer. We're in the Outlands. So if we're stationary throughout the day here, we don't have to roll any random encounters, but we will have to roll to the next night. So yeah, I guess we'll stay here another day. We're going to consume another set of rations, so another 4. And another random encounter check at night. 9. In the Outlands is a civilized encounter. I fucking doubt it. 27 in the forest is brigands. Yep, at night. Generally not positive intentions, I would say. Well, we'll have to deal with that without spells, but I will be right back. Okay. So, brigands. Let's get to that. Now, brigands are not like bandits. Bandits are typically like... sort of normal, like, criminals and things like that have kind of been driven out of a society and now prey on the roads and the people outside of settlements. Brigands are generally like former soldiers. They have, they operate a pretty similar function, but they generally have more of a military organization. Yeah, so these are soldiers that found blood and plunder of war suits them. When the wars end, these men become brigands, outlaws, and renegades banded together under the shared interest of stealing and pillaging. So yes, they are generally, they're chaotic. They're similar to bandits. They're generally criminals, generally bad folks. But where bandits are not really... Bandits are definitely going to be much more wary to get into a fight. Because they have, stats as like thieves. They're thieves. They like to intimidate, jump, ambush, that sort of thing. Brigands are just like big bands of soldiers that are just gonna fuck you up. And we do certainly have a good share of treasure. And this is at night. This is at night, and we have a campfire lit. Now, they almost certainly have torches, and they're not going to be walking through the woods or whatever at night in the dark. That would be insane. Unless it's like one brigand by himself. I don't know... Yes, okay, we do have an encounter activity table for brigands. So let's go ahead and just see that. See if we can find something that makes sense for them being at night. Serving a powerful doppelganger, a pretender to the throne. Well, that is a very evocative thing. I don't know if I can really work with that too much right now. Practicing several unerringly accurate archery volleys. No. Occupying a very superstitious hamlet. Let's try and find just something that I think would make sense. Especially because we're stationary, so they're on the move, which limits this even more. Moonlighting as bounty hunters to apprehend bandits. That could work. Foraging for food. It's iffy at night. like, people don't travel at night without, like, really a good reason. And then the one thing to note, the one thing that Axe does not do for this list is differentiate between day and night. And I think there's no... Should always be animal fashion makes sense in the context of terrain, weather, time of year, and other factors. If necessary to maintain the verisimilitude of the setting, disregard the result and roll again. So yeah, we could just say, I don't think there should never be any civilized encounters at night, but bandits would have made far more sense in this situation than brigands. And any one of the other ones, you could just say, oh, there's, a lost merchant or, something like that. But yeah, brigand's just the one at night. I'm not sure. So I think we're going to re-roll for this one. 44. The farmers. Okay, so what would a group of farmers or one or more farmers be doing out in the middle of the day? So these would be commoners, I think. They are going to appear in a band of 1d6 work gangs. So you could do this. I mean, this is always an option, but it's just farmers. So if you want to just be one lone farmer that's lost, you could just have him wander into the camp because he's hoping that we have some food and can guide him out of here. And just like a safe place to sleep for the night, really. That would be mostly what he's looking for at this point. He was wandering the woods and he got lost or something. That would make the most sense. Now, you could do it, however, where he has, like, a secret. Like, he's not telling the entire truth or something like that. I would imagine many players probably will be suspicious. I don't think I have an encounter activity table for commoners or peasants or anything. No, I'm not even sure if that can come up on the OSC encounter tables, actually. Let's see. Wilderness encounters. Human. Merchant can come up. So there could be a merchant. Oh, there's normal humans. Oh, okay, perfect. Now we found it. Oh, this just gives you 100 different types of humans. This is not an encounter activity table. Okay, well that's also useful, but not for our purposes. Nomads wouldn't really fit. Merchants maybe, but it's probably a list of things they're selling. No, I mean, unless you're gonna say he's like a murderer or he's a doppelganger or something, I don't think it really makes too much sense. I mean, that is an option. You're secretly a werewolf. You could roll that. I don't know. What would it be if I rolled on this? 67. Profiteering by selling arms to both sides of a conflict. Okay. Yeah, okay. It's fine. Yeah, we'll do what I say. He got lost in the woods. He saw our campfire, and he approaches very slowly with his hands up and everything, and he's like, oh, please, I'm lost. And he's hoping that we're not like bandits or, murderers and rapists and all that sort of stuff. This is going to disrupt our sleep, though, this asshole, because we're not going to sleep through that. So this is now another night where Kurather has to roll a 12 or higher on his con. He fails again. He just cannot get a good night's sleep. We're going to stay here another fucking day. We're not leading this guy out or anything. It's just, we just let him stay there for the night. Okay, another night. 18. I got all these random activity tables. 18 is a valuable terrain encounter. We can skip that. I could have sworn it said somewhere to skip terrain encounters if you're stationary. I thought maybe it said that somewhere, but... Oh yeah, terrain encounters do not occur if the party's resting / stationary, or they are following a specific route they've already traversed. So we're good. That's it. He's gonna get his sleep. Finally, we're back in business. Okay, so now we're gonna travel back to the caves. We're gonna roll one more random encounter in there. I think that's nothing. That is nothing. Thank goodness. Okay, we're back at the caves. So, I guess we could go back up to the bugbears for our third attempt. Sure, our third attempt. So we climb. We're going along here. We go back up to our rope. We're gonna climb up that way, and we're gonna sneak over into here. And did I rule that they do have lights? Right, there are lights. I mean, I think I said basically this whole area was going to be lit up, except maybe the deep ones and not the zombie area. But otherwise, yeah, there's lights around, light enough for us to see. And that brings me to another thing about Axe. That is another thing I kind of want to add. If I actually add all this stuff and I tried to make new characters, like class sheets for the core 4 classes, I feel like they'd be 3 pages. I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff I want to take. But if we go to the Thief in Axe, they have a special thing for shadowy senses. Since the bright light of torches will reveal their positions, thieves learn to rely on superior night vision, keen hearing and smell, and echolocation to slowly scout through dark alleys, lightless dungeons, and starlit rooftops. When moving at combat speed or exploration speed, a thief can see as if he were carrying a light source that sheds dim light in a 30-foot radius. Shadowy senses can be used to fight, probe for traps, and so on. However, it cannot be used to discern colors, faces, markings, or flat images such as frescoes and murals, or to read books, maps, or scrolls. Does not function if the thief is charging or running, if deafened, or if in an area of bright light, magical darkness, or magical silence. Because it counts as dim light, an opponent can hide from shadowy senses. So they basically, Axe gives every thief like low light vision, or honestly, dark vision. It doesn't say anything about it being hindered if you're in like complete darkness, because you use keen hearing, smell, and echolocation as long as you're moving slowly enough. Which is crazy. I mean, that's really nice for a thief. Thieves are almost as invaluable as priests or clerics, you know? And thieves often get kind of a short end of the stick of usefulness in a lot of these kind of games, you know, because they're not as hard-hitting as a fighter. They often can't get off a backstab or something like that. And so in combat, they're just like lesser fighters. They have lower hit points. They're squishy. They can't wear heavier armor. But yeah, if you add in all this stuff and just the utility of a thief and being able to hear things that no one else can hear, stealth forward, scout forward, pick locks, and being able to fucking see in the dark, that's awesome. Now again, Shadowdark is really anal about this sort of thing. They would never have this as an ability of any kind ever, whereas Axe doesn't give a shit as much. And yeah, obviously I lean more towards Axe. Honestly, I think goblins should have lightless vision. I think they should have basically the same trait, and I think thieves should have it. Does it break the game? Not really. Most of your characters are not going to have this. Unless you're a party of all goblins or all thieves. The thief is still going to be kind of a lone agent. It just makes it so that he can scout ahead in the dungeon. He can go ahead and check stuff without being in torchlight. And it just makes his role so much more viable compared to the Shadowdark Thief as is. Like, you've seen us. We rarely send Scylla that far ahead on her own or anything. And the only reason we've done so in this place is because I said that the whole place is kind of lit up. And I do still think a lot of creatures, like I said, it's this is basically what all these orcs and goblins and lizard folk and gnolls have. This trait, sort of. They can't discern colors, faces, markings, flat images, books. So these communities are still going to have a lot of torches, candles, lights around, because they want to see each other's faces and shit like that. Stuff, colors. But yes, I think in that case, this area that we're approaching would not have lights, because they're going to have this lightless vision. But Scylla doesn't need it either. But if I was sent, like, I don't know, Norin up ahead to try to scout, he would be completely lost in the dark. He would be like you or I, trying to look around. But a thief is specially trained to do exactly this. It's like Daredevil. Well, not quite, but yeah. So we're going to say there's not any lights here. And Scylla's going to scout ahead to see what she sees. So this is going to be a pretty DC 15, we're going to say. Actually, no, I should roll against their wisdom, because they are actively listening rather than set a DC. So this is going to be her with advantage on her dex, and the guy or bugbears. Okay, well, there you go. So they have like +1 wisdom or something like that, I think. Okay, so they do hear her yet again, so they have foreknowledge that something is creeping down the path. And again, this would be rolled secretly. So the player would not be aware of if they were heard or not. All right. Technically, would we have foreknowledge? I mean, yes, we strongly believe that there's something there. So I don't think that would be a surprise if something was there. So, no, I don't think there's surprise possible on either side. I think it's just as soon as we lay eyes on each other, there's going to be initiative rolled. So she blew her chance to jump him. At the same time, I mean, it's like, could players just say, like, oh, my character suspects that there's something up ahead. My character believes pretty firmly that there's going to be some creatures there. It's like, that sort of defeats the purpose then. It's like, yeah, well, that's not foreknowledge. That's for assumptions. So I suppose she could be surprised. And they are naturally stealthy in the dark, so she actually has to roll a 5 or 6 to not be surprised here, because they're quite stealthy. But yes, that is, she doesn't have any advantage to avoid surprise. So she has to roll a 5 or 6. She doesn't. So she does get kind of jumped. They are kind of waiting for her around the corner because they heard her coming. So this is bad. I have to determine how many there are. There used to be 1. For a time there was 1, but that was like a month ago in game. So they might have bolstered it back up to 2. Which would be pretty bad. So just for the sake of not getting massacred, let's say there's 1. So he's going to roll 4 dice, 2 attacks against her. She's almost certainly dead. Which is pretty bad. This was worst case. So, alright, the first attack, crit. The second attack, hit. So that's, oh god, I think they do 2d6 baseline, so that's 66. I have 4 hit points. I cannot survive. So I'm down. And this thing just slashes and just... would we even be aware? Yeah, it's pretty quiet, and we were kind of listening to and looking in to see how she was doing. So we probably do take notice that she dropped. So now we're going to charge in, because combat's Done. So we charge in. We're going to roll initiative then. We don't have her dex benefit. So we're at 0 total. He's at, I think, also 0 for his dex. Boo, Bobby, boo, boo, bugbear. No, +0. So we're both +0. Our initiative, 1. His is 3. Okay, so he's going to meet Noreen in combat. He's going to run forward and attack Noreen. First roll, miss. Second roll, miss. Scylla's death timer, 1. Okay, if we don't get to her this round, she's dead. Great. Alright, Noreen is, yeah, he's sick of it. He can't charge because he's in melee, so he's just got to swing and hope for the best. He crit failed. I think we're losing Scylla. No, we're going to use her luck token. There we go. That's a change of tune right there. So this is a full-on bugbear. Which means it has 14 AC and 15 hit points. So he's down to 5 hit points now. We brutalized him. Zaphiel has to get over to Scylla to heal. So it's up to Kurith there to end this thing. He's going to try a slicing blow. He succeeded. So now he has to roll an attack with his int. And he has to roll a... well, yeah, so he has to roll an 11 or higher. He's got a 50-50 shot. He does. He hits it for 1d10. We need a 5 or higher to kill this thing. Fuck! Alright, well, there's no ops in this game. So it's... You know, it's just like if something wanted to get past us, it could. You know, like there aren't... If he's specifically blocking the tunnel, then that would be one thing. But is he big enough to block the whole tunnel? It doesn't show how big the tunnel is. But if it's 10 feet wide, then he can't quite block the whole thing. So Zaphiel's going to sort of dive past him to try to heal Scylla. And he's probably going to fail. No, he succeeded. And heals her back to full. Excellent. She's back in the fight, baby. New initiative. Our roll is 1. His roll is 1. Reroll. Our roll is 3. His roll is 5. Alright, he's going to go again. He's going to attack Noreen once and Zaphiel once. And, yeah. So against Noreen, miss. Against Zaphiel, that is probably a hit. No. It's a 16. That is just barely a miss. Alright, you're done, Bugbear. Nope, miss. Scylla's gonna sit up and shoot her short bow. Kill him. Done. He probably should have rolled a morale check. I didn't. So that's that. There should be a lot more bugbears. I went light on it. But there are a lot more bugbears than that. If you recall, there's a total of 8 in the roster here. So now they're down to 7. But that means there's 7 fucking bugbears somewhere in this small area. Alright. It's a little too late to roll a random encounter here, but there could be something that approaches right now. So we pick Scylla up and roll that random encounter. No, we're fine. Okay, so the orcs to the north we know, but we probably should deal with the goblins now before moving on to orcs. So, again, this place is pretty well lit up. But we're going to send Scylla ahead again to try to scout out the situation down here, where it's maybe not quite as lit up. Again, these are caves, and they're not going to go around and make sure the whole place is well lit or anything. It's just they might have a torch in each room sort of thing, or a candle, just so they can make out some details if they sit near it. Alright, so she's going to sneak up to that area. She rolls very well. There are 2 wargs there. 2 greasy, mangy canines with bat faces. They're lookouts for the king in Area 23. They attack anyone they don't recognize. They obey any commands given in the goblin language, even by non-goblins. Great. I think it would be an impressive group that tries that and figures that out. I imagine they get bonuses. Acute hearing and acute olfaction. +2 bonus to avoid surprise in their natural habitat. Alright. So she's going to gesture to the others. And she starts drawing her bow back. She's going to try to snipe one of these wargs. So she gets advantage. Well, no, we have to roll surprise, right? They have disadvantage, but they get a +2 to avoid surprise. Which means they can't be surprised. Unless you have some sort of penalty. So unless I change the advantage to be some sort of negative to their ability to, which I guess I could. Yeah, I suppose that makes more sense. Because otherwise, they literally can never be surprised by anything in my game. Because advantage doesn't mean anything. Or disadvantage doesn't mean anything. If they roll 2 1s, that's still +2 to 3. So I think we have to change this to, what, a -2? Anything she's on her own, she gets, yeah, -2 penalty to surprise rolls if the thief is outside their line of sight. I think that's correct. I think it's -2. I know we said that we wanted to do not numerical stuff and just advantage, disadvantage, but interacting with the other mechanics of Axe. I mean, we could change this and alter this to just be they have advantage to avoid surprise in their natural habitat. That would be the easier way if we didn't want to fuck with numbers. And then that would cancel out this. And so they would just roll a flat. Which is basically what's going to happen anyways if I change it to a -2. So, yeah, sure. I guess that's easy. No matter what, we're kind of making this fucky little system. So, it's just up to me to kind of remember how I rule these things. But if we set a baseline of just trying to avoid any numerical benefits or disadvantages as much as possible and just try to use advantage and disadvantage as much as we can, as per the rules of Shadowdark, then I think we're okay. So, yes, they have advantage to avoid surprise. She forces disadvantage, so it cancels out, and they just are surprised on a 1 or a 2. They are surprised. They were snoozing or something, weren't paying attention, so she's going to get a nice, juicy backstab on one of these. Boom! 12 fucking damage. The problem is they have 6 hit dice in this version, so we can't really go by that, because I doubt that's what they have in Shadowdark. No, they have 3 hit dice in Shadowdark, so 14. So we got a juicy backstab on one right in the, between the ribs or whatever. Incredible shot. It yelps in pain and howls and stuff, but not quite dead. And now we have to roll initiative. Technically, the whole group was ready for this. They all saw her pull back her bow, and they were waiting up here. So, the whole group is involved. They probably have a good dex. +1, okay. So, they're +1. We're 0. Our initiative is 5. Theirs is 2. Okay, she's going to try to knock another arrow and finish it off real quick. And they do have... Now, I mean, it's like, I don't have to use a warg stats, right? Because we were talking 3 hit dice, so I could have just used a... Yeah, I probably could have just used a common wolf stat block here. It's the same thing. They have advantage to avoid surprise. But, alright, we'll just use this. Well, actually, if we had used this, they would have been dead. Because this would be 11 hit points and 12 AC. So, I guess... I get that's the question. It's like, how often am I going to use Shadowdark stat blocks versus Axe? Alright, we'll use the ward. That's fine. So it's got 2 hit points left. She's going to try to finish it. That is a hit, and that is a kill. She drops it. Noreen's going to come charging around the corner. Assuming that's allowed. I mean, I don't know if that's 30 feet or not. I don't know how cramped these areas are meant to be exactly. I guess we do have squares, so if he was like here and they're here, it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Yeah, probably. Sure. Okay, that is a hit for 8 damage. Kurathair is then going to cast... It's got 6 hit points left. Sure, we'll try for a slicing blow. Success, excellent. And an int roll is a miss. Well, we tried. Alright, then he's got 6 hit points left. If Zaphiel hits, he has a 33% chance of killing it. I guess I could have cast Infuriate Beast, but he would have had to have stealthed up to that, so no. Alright, he'll charge in. And he hits and kills. Excellent. Max roll. Okay, drops the wargs. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll be able to avoid drawing the ire of the Goblin King. So they're going to immediately fight. So we have the Goblin King, which is a goblin boss. We have 2 goblins and a bugbear. Now that's if I don't decide to add in more bugbears in here, because we still have to chew through, like I said, 7 of them, since we let those others escape. Maybe they moved along with the Manticore to some other region or something. I mean, we could just forget about them and say there's 3 bugbears in here, but that's because I don't even remember where the Manticore is supposed to be. Villain can be found in the same area as the faction's leader. The faction's leader? Page 51? The monster faction? Oh, wait a minute. With the bug... Oh, God, the Manticore is in here, isn't it? Oh, we would just run immediately then. A goblin boss, 2 goblins, a bugbear, and a Manticore. That's not a fight you're winning. No, siree, Bob. Yeah, so if we actually did that, that's how... I mean, look at this thing. Come on. 6 hit dice, and oh my lord. Hurling spikes at us. We're level, like, 1 and 2. It's not happening. I did get XP for the bugbear and the warg. So the bugbear was another 65. And the... wargs were level 3. So that'd be 100. All right, Oracle, is the Manticore here? No. Okay. Then we don't have to worry about that. Fine, then we can stay and fight. Still probably not super pleasant, especially because of the Goblin Boss, which is a 20 hit point Goblin with 14 AC. Which, over on here, 20 hit points is like... it's close to 4 hit dice. Yeah, so we'll drop it down and we'll say it's a chieftain. 15 AC, 3 hit dice for 16 hit points, and a +2 damage bonus. As long as he's alive, goblins get a +2 bonus to morale rolls. Okay. That's fine. Well, then let's just roll initiative. There's no surprise here or anything like that. I don't I don't think. I mean, I guess they could have surprised us, but they immediately started moving towards us. So, but I guess that's not exactly how surprise works. I don't know. I don't know if you can be surprised like one after the other like that. I guess you could. But if surprise is mostly meant to represent like stealth or just random encounters, I think in this case it wouldn't really apply. So we'll just roll into it. They have varying stats, I guess. They have +1 on the goblins. I think +0 on the bugbear. Or +1. +0. There's 3 goblins. So it's 3 divided by 4. Yes. So they also have +0. Alright. Our initiative is 3. Their initiative is 3. Our initiative is 4. Their initiative is 1. We go first. Okay. Well, that gives us possibilities. Does Noreen charge in? Maybe. We should probably start with a slumber. It's our best bet. Because that could drop everything in the room. So let's roll a fucking slumber. How big is this room? Not super big. 10-foot diameter, remember, is going to be 9 squares. 9 squares, assuming the king joins the fight, and they already started moving, like I said. I think that probably could be all of them. It's not a super big room. And that's why they immediately saw this and noticed this and came out. So, yeah, I think slumber could hit everything. We're going to roll. Normal. We failed. No luck tokens. That was our best bet. Damn it. Alright, so that was that. In that case, then... yeah, we don't have many options. So Noreen's going to charge in. He'll charge the one of the goblins, the little goblins. That's a kill. He's going to move over and try and cleave the other little goblin. That is also a kill. They only have 3 hit points. So he's got both, but he's in a precarious spot. Scylla is going to try to shoot the boss. She hits. He has an AC of, what did I say, 16? No, 15. Not quite a mighty deed for her. So he's going to be pretty nasty. But he's down to 12 hit points. But Noreen does not stand a good chance because he's going to have advantage against him from 3 attacks. Zaffiel can come in and maybe soak up something. So I guess he'll rush in, not charge, and try and swing at the boss as well. He does hit even harder. Excellent. So he's down to 12. Now he's down to 7. That could prompt a morale check. Half the group is dead and the king is injured. So I think we might roll a morale here for the king. It says, as long as the chieftain is alive, goblins gain a +2 bonus to morale rolls. I don't know if that includes the chieftain himself, but I guess we could say it that way. So we'll give them a +3 to this roll. Alright, he still failed. So he's going to panic and flee. Well, not necessarily flee, I suppose. He'll probably go and rally more troops, because there are plenty of other goblins in here. Does that mean the bugbear will flee with him and join him to reinforce? I think he gets a separate roll. So, +1 or whatever, +2, I guess. The chieftain's alive, so +2. Alright, he succeeded, so he's going to stay and try and hold us off while the king gets reinforcement. He's loyal to the king, even though he's much bigger than him. So he's going to swing both attacks at Noreen. First attack, that's a hit. Second attack, hit. So that's 4d6. Noreen drops. Ouch. New initiative. We have 4, 2... yeah, we have 0 again. So our initiative is 4. His is 1. Noreen's death timer is 2. So he can roll. He rolled a 20! Luck token, and he's back up with 1 hit point. Holy shit. You thought I was dead, motherfucker? You're dead. He gets up and swings at the bugbear. Misses, okay. We could re-roll that, but I feel wary about constantly using my luck token as soon as I get it. Zaphiel's going to try to heal. That's probably where we want to use the luck token. Yep. Failed twice. Nothing I can do about it. Scylla's going to shoot the bugbear. He misses. I'm pretty sure we ruled bugbears have a good amount of AC. Yeah, they have 14. And then Kurathair can't slumber. Slicing blow, I suppose. Failure as well. We're running out of options here. Bugbear is gonna go swinging twice. Once at Norin, once at Zaphiel. How about that? So against Norin, miss. Against Zaphiel, miss. Double twos. New initiative. Ours is 3. His is 4. Same thing against Norin. Hit against Zaphiel. Fumble. Not that it does much good, but there you go. Another 7 damage. I think he was uninjured. Yeah, he was uninjured, and they have 15 hit points. So he's now at 8. Norin, however, is down again. No question about it. And we've lost Cure Light Injury. So we're going to have to stabilize him and haul him out of here. Can we do that before the troops rally? Probably not. It's our turn, though, so Zaphiel's going to try to grab Norin and pull him out of there. There's no ops, and I assume he has enough strength to carry. He's going to be encumbered, though, so that's a problem. Still is going to shoot another shot. She crit fumbles. Great. Doesn't mean anything. The Bugbear doesn't have a ranged weapon. Kurathair has not many options here. He's going to have to go for Fan of Flames. Success. Excellent. Bugbear has to roll Dex versus a 12. He does not, so he takes D8. 4. Okay. His fur is really singed. I think he's at 4 hit points now. New initiative on our side. We rolled a 6. He rolled a 4. Scylla's going to shoot again. That is a kill, I believe. Yes, that is a kill. So then we're going to hightail it back up this way. Probably just as the goblins are rallying. They probably see us this way. So, yeah, they're going to be running. How many goblins are in that section, I guess? Because we kind of have to play this out. 21. There's 5 goblins. Most of them were asleep. The other one was cooking. So they were definitely distracted when the king came running in by himself. But now there's the king behind 5 goblins that are now chasing us. Kurathair is going to try to fire off another Fan of Flames. Success. Unfortunately, I only rolled 11, so there's going to be 6 rolls here against... yeah, I think they have... Well, a dex of 0? 1? I never remember these things, and I should just guess. I should just say a number. It's 1. Okay, so a 10 or higher on this roll for all 6. Okay, 4 of them made it, 2 of them didn't. The roll for the D8 is 4. So 2 of them are dead, 4 of them are pretty singed. I think the king was at... God, I don't know. He was at like half or something. He was fairly low. I think maybe he was at like 6. So 6 or 7. So we'll say he's at 5 now. We're going to roll a new initiative. We're like here. Goblins are all here. That might prompt a morale check because they just got blasted with a flamethrower, but we'll see. They're going to roll +1. We roll +0. We rolled a 2. They rolled a 6. They roll a morale check. But they are emboldened by the king who's still alive. So we'll give them... oh yeah, we don't want to do pluses. So they have advantage on the morale check with +1. Okay, they succeeded on both. So they're going to now rush at Kurathair, who's in the back. And try to chop him down. So they have... There's 3 of them. The king's not going to get quite involved because he's really wary now. So it's just 3 of them attacking Kurathair. They didn't charge. They're just trying to run up and stab. So... But he only has 8 AC, so it's not great. They have +0 to the roll. 1, 2, 3. 2 of them hit. So that's going to be with spears, I think 2d6. 8 damage, Kurathair's down. Now it gets really bad, but if Kurathair died, I wouldn't probably shed that many tears. It's our initiative. Scylla's going to try to save Kurathair's life by shooting at one of the goblins. She misses. New initiative. Zaphiel's still carrying Noreen out, so they're no longer in play. Actually, I don't think we ever even stabilized Noreen, did we? No, I think he might be dead. I completely forgot about that. A player wouldn't have forgotten, though. Okay. And he only had, like... Didn't we roll for his round? It was like 2? Oh, no, I rolled the first time. Okay, this time I rolled 4. Okay, so we'll see. He rolled a 20 again! Oh my god. He gets back up while Zaphiel's trying to carry him out. It's like, no, I must save Kurathair. Take me back! And so he heroically comes charging in. And he decapitates a goblin, and he goes and cleaves another one. Oh, decapitates a second goblin. Oh my god. They're in shambles. There's one goblin left, plus the king. Yes, I forgot about all the other bugbears that are out hunting right now. Don't worry about them. This is epic and cool. This is why we're not playing Axe and we're playing Shadowdark. Let's just go with the flow. I think we have a new initiative. I think Kurathair has to... Oh, he's got 1 round left. Oh my god. Okay. So this round, someone's going to have to do something. Our initiative is like plus... Actually, it's pretty good. I think it's +1. Ours is 5. Theirs is 3. Okay. Scylla's going to have to try to stabilize here. She fails. I guess we'll use that luck token. She got him. He's stable. Okay, Noreen's going to try to decapitate this other goblin. Crit. He gets that luck token right back. Decapa-fucking-tated. And then Zaphiel's going to charge the king. That doesn't hit, I don't think. Because he has an AC of 15. So no, he doesn't hit. Alright, the king now has to make his own morale check. Probably not with advantage. I think that is enough. So he's like, his whole existence is in shambles here, and he's just going to lash out at Zaphiel. +3 on the roll. He fumbles. Zaphiel counters. Oh, wait a minute. Zaphiel charged. Never mind. He still misses. Alright, excellent. Our initiative is 3. His is 5, so he goes again. He's going to stab. 14 is a miss. Noreen charges. And I think he's dead. Okay, combat over. Probably pretty fucky how I ran that, but I think most of my players would be pretty pleased with the outcome of that. It was pretty loosey-goosey. I forgot about certain factors, but hey, we still succeeded to stabilize him. I think that was relatively legit. It was mostly somewhat legit. It's just mostly like the layout of the place. 24 has the hatchery, so there's another goblin shaman over there. And technically there should be like 3 more bugbears at least. But you can always just say these things are out hunting. Like, it's a small area, you know. It's either that or you have to... It's pretty rough. Which I think it's meant to be pretty rough. But oh well, I thought it was fun. Okay, we got a lot of XP. We took the XP for the wargs, I believe. We killed 1 bugbear, which is another 65. Then we killed a total of 1, 2, 7 goblins plus the chieftain. So that's 35, 80, 85 more XP. Excellent. Yeesh. Then it's that shaman. I think the shaman is now acutely aware that we exist. So I'm going to roll... It says it calls for reinforcements, 1d6 goblins if attacked. Where do they come from? I don't know, man. I have no idea. It seems weird, because it doesn't really seem grounded in reality of whether they come out of the water, or like, I have no idea. So I think that's weird. But I think the shaman's aware of us, so I'm going to roll a morale check to see if he rushes to try and save his king after the king dies. Or if he just tries to hide. Okay, he's just going to try to hide now. Okay. So we're going to search the area real quick. Especially the throne room. I think that's where the treasure would be. So Scylla's going to search the throne room while the other two watch over Kurathair's unconscious body. They do note that the king is wearing dwarven priestly robes worth 500 gold and sits on a dwarven throne worth 2,000 gold. Both are stolen from the orcs of the north, worth double if sold to a dwarf. Which is one of those things like, yeah, we're in a big city, let's find a dwarf. The throne is very hard to get out of here. Unless we can clear out the place, and we can't be sure of that just yet. Not to mention the logistics of being over encumbered while traveling back to a town. So we'll want to get a cart or something for that. But we can pocket the robes worth 500 gold, which is awesome. So we'll have Noreen grab that. Dwarven priestly robes, 500 gold. And that'll go on our XP list as well. Alright, then at that point, I think we should vacate. And we see this entrance here, so I think we're good. And we'll go out that way. Now the problem, of course, is it's trapped. And we have, I think, like, really one of our first traps. If we don't specifically say we're searching for traps, there is no passive perception. There is no just like, oh, roll a wisdom to see if you notice it or anything like that. The old school way would basically be like we did with the pit, where everybody in order rolls a d6 or something, or the DM rolls for each person, and on a 1 or a 2 they trigger it. Otherwise they just happen to step over it. I don't know if I would be specifically searching for traps, although it is like an entrance, an obvious entrance to their cave. So I think it is possible that one of our characters might think of that. One of the players might think of that. Say, okay, as we approach, I'm like looking to see if they have any traps around on the floor, on the walls around this entrance. So I'm going to roll an oracle just to see, would one of these characters think of that? Yes, they would. Okay, well then Scylla is going to search for traps, which is going to be a wisdom check with advantage. And the DC is going to be 12. Okay, so she failed. So she looks around, and it's just like a really well-concealed trap. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, if we want to go over again to the axe rules, it's not like a guaranteed thing, I don't think. It would be under searching, right? Something searching. So, methodically searching, 10 minutes. Search proficiency throw with a +4 bonus. We represent that with advantage. Yeah. If you are moving at exploration speed, which we almost always are, unless someone says otherwise, that's why it's like 1 turn per room. You can choose to attempt to hastily search as they move. Anytime the thief moves within 5 feet of a hidden feature, judge secretly makes a proficiency throw on his behalf. Right. So that's where they get like an auto check. Technically, though, we methodically searched, so we already tried. We don't think there's anything, so we wouldn't get an auto one. But at level 2 for searching, we'd succeed on a 17 or higher. Methodically, that would be +4, so 13 or higher. Yeah, I mean, we had his... It sucks that our wisdom is -1, and there's no way to increase that through talents. I would probably change the thief's talents. Yeah, I'd probably change it from charisma to wisdom in that case, then. If we want the thief to be damn good at thiefy things, I don't think charisma should be here. I think this should be wisdom. So change that. Let's put that in my notes. Let's see. This would be 6 to 9 talent roll. Change charisma to wisdom. Done. Done and done. All right. So yeah, she said, yeah, I don't see anything. I don't know. It seems crazy. Like, how concealed could this goblin tripwire possibly be? But that's the rules. So now we're going to walk across in order. Noreen, Zaphiel, Kurathair, Scylla. On a 1 or a 2. Noreen. Yep, he triggers it immediately. He's going to get fucked. There is no, like, save or anything. I don't think. Yeah, it's just 2d6 damage to any creature taller than a goblin or halfling. So these blades just come out and just... And he drops to 0 again. You're like, oh no, Noreen! God! Okay, he has... Okay, good amount of rounds. 4 rounds for us to stabilize him. I can't imagine we'd fuck this up with all 3 of us trying. Alright, Kurathair gets it. Oh no, Kurathair's not in play. Shit. I wasted that roll. Scylla fails. He fails. We still in by bandages. Alright, 3 rounds. Fail. Fail. 2 rounds. Got him. Alright, so now we have to drag Kurathair and Noreen out of this place back into the wilderness. I'll be right back. Okay, so we made it out. We're all stable, at least. We can say that. We drag their bodies like a half an hour out of the caves. We're still in this hex, so it's still a pretty dangerous area, but we have no choice but to settle here for the night and hope that nothing horrible happens to us. We only have 2 people on watch, but, you know, you gotta figure that, like, nighttime is like 12 hours. You only need to sleep for 6 of those to get a rest. So really, it's like 6 hours for one person, 6 hours for the other person. And yeah, if we get attacked by another adder cop or some bullshit like that, it's probably a TPK at this point. But we don't have any option. We do have to feed them rations, even though they're unconscious, because, you know. So there goes 4 rations for that. And let's roll our random encounter for the evening. Yeah, because we can't... I don't... Oh, there is a safe haven in the next hex, but I don't think we can really drag them that far. Unfortunately, it's a bit too far from the caves. So we're just going to have to roll. Here we go. 10. That is an encounter. I believe it's a civilized encounter. In the Outlands. It is a civilized encounter. So this could be nothing. It could be terrible. I rolled a 20. We're in the forest. 20 is bandits. Do we want to say it's that same friendly bunch of bandits? That would make the most sense. So we'll roll advantage on an oracle check. No, it's not the same bunch. Well, that's really unfortunate then. So this is a different group of bandits operating in the same area at night, looking to rob people. And there's 2 of us. Who's on watch? Okay, well, at least it's Scylla. Bandits. It's just such a big group, but that's how they do it. They probably, in this exact situation, they find people at night camping, they jump them, they ambush them, and that's it. Like, it's an exact scenario that would occur. And if you're in camping in dangerous territory, this is why you have retainers. This is why you have a group of like 10 with you that make them think like, it's probably not worth it. There's a lot of swords. This isn't the kind of easy pickings we want. This is the easy pickings they want. I think this is going to be a TPK. Okay, so unless I rule that it's the friendly bandits that we know and love, that we have made acquaintances with. That's a big reason why you'd make friends with them, right? So that if this role comes up with bandits and you're in the area, the DM can just be like, oh yeah, it's those guys. Yeah, I might just do that, because otherwise we have to roll 1d6 gangs. So this is going to be like 11 or so bandits that are encountering us. I mean, I know that's why we did the Oracle, and we had advantage, and we just had shitty luck, but it's like, there's no way we survive if these guys are hostile. We can roll reaction, but if this is a new group of bandits looking for easy pickings, I'm not sure what we could really say other than just like giving them some treasure and say like, look, you could attack us, maybe you could kill all of us and take all the treasure, but not without me killing at least a couple of you. So we'll give you treasure. We'll give you some if you back off. And maybe they will. Maybe not. It's hard to say. They'd probably want cold hard cash. So we'd probably have to give up the 200 golden coins. I guess if we're going to roll with it, and that's what we decided, that this is the situation, or pretend that we never did find those friendly bandits, and this was just this, yep, bandits are coming at night, this can happen to you out in the dangerous terrain, then yes, I think we'd try to offer that deal. Now, is that going to modify the reaction roll, or does that really just like allow the reaction roll to occur? I don't think that's the case. I think there always should be a reaction roll, and just... yeah, the problem is it's at night, they're bandits. Like, there's so much that points to them just robbing us at knife point. So I think maybe they would think that anyways. Like, they're thieves, right? They don't want to get into a fight with armed individuals. They want to just intimidate us and have us give up treasure. So the reaction roll determines how likely they are to take something and go, rather than like, yeah, like you're going to give us everything you got kind of stuff. So yes, I think that is the case. So this is going to be, yeah, Scylla's charisma. Would a DM give me like advantage for being a thief and them being thieves? Probably not. And I don't think, well, I guess that always depends on the DM. I think I could see someone giving like a +1. The issue here with Shadowdark is we're so determined to use advantage or disadvantage with everything, and advantage is a bit too powerful for this. But I could see giving a +1, so I'm going to break my own rule here. Well, I'm going to break Shadowdark's rules. I'm going to give her a +1 for a total +2. Okay, so it's an 8. So it's kind of right in that midpoint. So we're gonna, you know, like, they're not gonna shoot. They're not just gonna fire and kill. I guess they could. I guess they could have. And with a low reaction roll, maybe that's what they would have done. But we would have rolled reactions after surprise, right? So we didn't even determine surprise, which may have influenced it. We should probably do the whole process here. So, surprise. They're pretty good. They're first level thieves. So they're all going to get a stealth check. And I guess we'll just do it as one roll for the whole group. So we'll give them a +2 to Dex. And technically they would have advantage, but I have advantage on Wisdom. So let's just even that out. So their roll for stealth is a 6, or technically an 8. My roll to listen is a 9. So I do just barely hear them right as they're about there. And Scylla can immediately tell that we're surrounded, so she's got her bow ready. She kicks Zafil away, and she's like, all right, I know you're there, blah, blah, blah. And so they're all going to kind of get up, and we can see that there's, let's see, yeah, 16 of them. Jesus, what a pack. So 16 on 2. I can't really come up with a good reason why they wouldn't just execute us. They like just they're surrounding us. They would just fire their bows, kill us, take our shit, and go. it's really just like DM fiat here, just being like, yeah, that would be what happens. And I'm sure many DMs out there will do exactly that. It's like, yeah, it sucks, but you're out in a very dangerous location. There's two of you. What do you fucking expect? Sort of thing, you know? Yeah, and I guess if I wanted to end this here, that's what I would do. Just like the Devil Boar thing. Like, you can see how dangerous it is here. This whole situation is quite dangerous. And this is why you have hirelings. Like, even if you're hirelings, you're just paying them a monthly salary just to follow along and carry stuff with you, and they never go into the dungeon. The wilderness is so dangerous that it's worth having a group of those guys. Because if I had had like 4 or 5 armed hirelings, then I could be like, okay, they could probably shoot and maybe drop a few of you, but there would be some bloodshed on their side, and they would just rather avoid that. Here, it's like, I don't know, man. It would be really unlikely for them not to drop both of us in a blink of an eye. But I do have a bow ready, so maybe they're a little iffy. No one really wants to make that first move. All right, I'll be nice just because I don't quite want to end it here. But it probably would end here. Okay, so I'm gonna try to chat with them for a minute and offer up 200 golden coins, just so, hey, no bloodshed on either side. We all go on our merry way. So I'm gonna re-roll with the +2 again. Okay, that was a very big roll. So if we now go to reactions for the influence, so we rolled technically a 12, so it shifts 2 steps towards friendly. We were at neutral, so now they became friendly or helpful, which means they're like, okay, you know, toss the sack over to the bushes nice and slowly now. They're gonna make him do it because he doesn't have a bow in his hand. She's gonna keep the bow ready. Everyone's a little iffy, so we're gonna lose these 200 coins, which means I do lose that XP as well, the 200 I wrote here. I'm pretty sure I wrote. Yes, here. This goes down to 504. That's how it works. But alright, they're gonna sort of nod and slink off into the shadows. Again, it's very unlikely that that's how it would ever play out, and I would probably DM it that way just because I'm a really Care Bear casual DM for my family and stuff. And, you know, at this point, they would have been through enough and suffered enough, and death is still very possible at any moment during combat and things like that. But I wouldn't have really kicked them while they were down. But I certainly understand many or even most DMs just saying, yeah, you're dead. Sorry. Okay. That is going to... Well, technically, they're still unconscious, so that doesn't really interrupt their sleep. It would probably interrupt our sleep, though, for Zaphiel. So he has to roll to get a 12 or higher on this. He doesn't. So he doesn't recover cure light injury. But the night goes by for the others. They're back up. Cool. Thank God for that. Okay. I think at this point we probably just take what treasure we have, although it's not that much. We have the griffin feathers, the robes, and that's about it now. We lost the coinage, but it wasn't that major. So yeah, we have about 1,000 gold, so 8,500 or 850 gold we'll have. We could probably spend that on some bandages, healing salves, and maybe hire a few retainers to protect us and bring a cart as well for that throne. So it's probably worth going back to town now rather than making another venture into another dangerous territory. I don't think we have specific knowledge of how many factions are in there, how big the caves are, or anything. We wouldn't know that, but I know that we have 2 more factions to deal with. So the next day we're going to start traveling back. So that's going to be the first day, just 2 hexes, then 2 hexes, and then 3 hexes to here, and then on to the settlement. All right, so the first one, 5 is nothing. Second one, 11 in the Borderlands. 11 in the Borderlands is a civilized encounter. D100, 31 in the Grasslands. That is Brigands. Okay, so here it actually makes sense that we would encounter the Brigands. So now we actually do have to go through the Brigands, which is annoying. 1d10 gangs. 2 gangs. That means that there are 4d5. 4d... Oh. 4d4, I'm sorry. Yeah. Alright, there's 8 Brigands. So, some sort of scouting party, some small raiding party, or they're just having fun. Let's check the encounter activity table, because this could actually be relevant now. Daytime is much more sensible. D100 on that is a 95. They're undermining a sturdy stone battlement. Nope, does not make sense. 33. They're heckling a new conscript who fell from a horse. Yes, I suppose they would have horses based on the way that it outlines. 67% of brigand gangs encounter will be bowmen equipped with short bow, short sword, dagger, leather armor. 33% will be medium cavalry equipped with lance, sword, shield, lamellar armor, and scale barded medium war horses. So that's gangs. So one of these gangs we encounter, like 2 of these guys are on horses. I don't know why a new conscript then would have a horse if they don't all have horses, so I think we probably can ignore that one. 25. Ferreting out a Confederate in their ranks. Confederate. Interesting. Give me something that I can work with quickly. Guarding the only traversable route to their camp. No, these guys are going to be on the move. 31. Hanging a group of deserters for all to see. Maybe in more well-traversed areas. No, we'll get one. I might just pick one at this point. 59. Reconnoitering the site of a new stronghold. That would be something, a job for 8 of them that they could do. So these guys came from further south or something like that. Honestly, I don't know why they wouldn't take the keep. The keep has been abandoned. The keep has probably been taken again by monsters. Maybe that's where the Manticore is again. It went back and saw that we abandoned it, so there's nothing there, so it took it over again with the bugbears. But yeah, so okay, they're out here sort of scouting a new thing. If we assume Scylla is always ahead of the group, scouting, I think there is a chance here for her to spot them ahead of time. So we're gonna give her a stealth ability compared to they're not being stealthy. They're just checking out. They're walking. They're soldiers. They're not thieves. So they're just marching around and checking out the river and pointing and looking and blah blah blah. Maybe this is a good spot. So it's her stealth. She rolled a 10. We will roll for their wisdom of +0. That's a tie. Let's re-roll. She rolled a 16. They rolled a 5. Okay, so she hides behind some shrubbery. She does see these 8 brigands. She can tell that a couple of them are on horseback. Or they're probably not on horseback currently, but they have a couple armored horses with them. They're all wearing kind of like armor. It's not... They look like soldiers, or sort of somewhat vagabond soldiers, I suppose. They look like this. Scruffy a bit. We don't see any insignias or any banners or anything like that. So we probably assume these are not part of any formal military this far out in the Borderlands and stuff. So we assume the worst, that this is not a group of adventurers or anything. And they don't look like bandits, they look like soldiers. So brigands would be the likely thing. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, because we roll, we roll for surprise first. That's really the first thing. And she has a bonus to have them be surprised. But the thing that always throws me off with that for the outdoor encounters is foreknowledge. Like, how do I decide if we have foreknowledge? Unless I'm just like, yeah, sure. Or, nah, not really. You know, it's like, they're a bigger group than us. Yeah. They're not trying to be stealthy. Yeah. So that probably is in our advantage. I would imagine then she just hears it and we have foreknowledge. And then we go to the stealth, the surprise roll. And we don't have to roll and they have to roll. Not that it really matters, because if we're just going to evade, then we're just going to evade. I don't think we get a bonus to evasion based on them being surprised. Oh no, if the monsters are surprised, evasion is automatic. Oh, well, that is pretty valuable then. And she is scouting ahead, so she's on her own. Yes. Okay, then we probably would go around them. I don't think we really need... I mean, we could chat with them. I mean, you know. But these are chaotic, generally evil men that like to take what others have by sword point. Or spear point, or what have you. So, yeah, we probably want to evade them. So let's roll to see if we catch them by surprise, which I think is... basically what I was supposed to do instead of that stealth roll. So we're sticking with the, they have disadvantage. So they roll twice. If either one is a 1 or a 2, and they are surprised. Yes, they are. So we evade automatically with the whole group, and we're out of there. Good. And that's it. Okay, so that got us partway here. I mean, we're probably like over here now. But we're going to camp for the night. Did we do any foraging? That's a good question. That would be appreciated. Yes, we certainly did. We got 3 rations. Minute. 6 rations we got. We're going to eat 4 of them and recover 2. Excellent. We are going to roll a random encounter tonight, but then not any other night. It's a 3, which is nothing. We are good to go. Yep, we're good. Which means that Zaphiel does get Cure Light Injury back, and we are back to full. Awesome. All right, next day, 2 encounters. We roll a 9, which is a civilized encounter again. 31 in the grassland is unfortunately brigands again. So maybe because I think we were right towards the evening, so maybe they camped during that day, or they camped at that spot, and now they're heading back to inform the rest of their group. So it's the same 8 dudes walking along the riverbank that we were heading towards. She scouts ahead, so we're going to do the same surprise rolls. Okay, they are very surprised again, so now we're going to evade them again. So we're still hugging sort of the tree line over here, hiding from them and stuff. But we're kind of walking in the same general direction. And then we enter the next hex here. Maybe we're in the forest here. We'll say we're in the forest right here. Unfortunately. So that's going to be a D20 there. 6 is no encounter. Excellent. We camp for the night. Let's see if we foraged. Ooh, nice. There probably is a way to... This foraging rule is really cheesy for playing solo. But I need all the luck tokens I can get. Okay, no food. So there goes 1, 2. Okay. No encounter that night. So now we're gonna be basically like, I think we have to the evasions basically cost us another day. So we have to go here, then here, and we'll end up like here. So one more day. First one, no encounter. Second one, yes encounter. 17. is a dangerous terrain. Unless I'm on a road. I think I am on a road for that second one, yes. But, well, a road also counts as being along a river, actually. So we would be on this, a civilized encounter. 24 on the grassland is sheep. Thank God. We're delighted to see some sheep on the other side of the river. We camp for the night, no problem. Let's see if we foraged again. Try to get some luck tokens. No, no, no. No. No, not quite. Okay, that's another 4 rations. We're going through them, boy. All right, and then we have 2 more encounters, and then we'll call it good for on our way to the settlement, because I'm not tracking everything. 20 is a valuable terrain encounter. A hot diggity dog. And it's an 11, which is a vista, which is the most useless one for most people, because it's just a beautiful view of the terrain that we find. If an army occupies the vista, gains a +1 bonus on reconnaissance rolls. Yeah, so not really of any useful, but hey, it's like, hey, yeah, you just find a beautiful spot to look out. It's pleasant. And then the second one is a 10, which is no encounter. Awesome. All right, and then we are gone. We head to the settlement. It's like 3 days, which technically would be 12 rations we'd have to consume. Yep. That's gonna be everything we have, plus we'll assume some point over those 3 days we forage a little bit. So we are plumb out of rations by the time we get to the settlement. All right, we have griffin feathers and this priestly robe. This is a class 4 settlement. What the hell am I looking at? Lost my mind there a little bit. Hold on. It's a class... No, 5 settlement. That's right. We said class 5. Yeah, so 10% chance to sell the robes and the griffin feathers at full value. So let's try for the robe. Miss. And the feathers also no. Okay, then we'd say we want to drop down to 100 gold here, or we could just travel to the bigger settlement again, which is probably the smart thing to do, right? Then we can just get full value. It's a class 3, I said, so yeah, we'd get full value for both. So all right, we'll spend the time to travel to the bigger settlement again. We'll join up with another caravan, however long that takes us. What did I do for that? Like 3 encounters or 4 encounters, or maybe it was 7 encounters. I think it was 7, yeah. All right, so 7 civilized and road. So 12 or higher is something bad. Yes, no, 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 yes. Well, not bad, but a civilized. So a 2 civilized encounter, grassland. First one is sheep. Second one is farmers. Nothing eventful. Civilized areas are generally pretty good, especially along the road. They're well patrolled. All right, we make it to the nice big city. So we're going to sell these things for full value. So 500 minus 15%, 425 gold. Okay. 425 gold. And then 504. It's basically the same thing. Slightly different. 428 gold. 428 plus 425. 853 gold to work with. It's pretty good. Oh, also the Addercop venom. Yes, we do want to sell that as well. 250 minus 15%. We'll say 212 plus 853. I don't like working with silver if I can avoid it. like working with nickels. 1065. All right, good. And then XP. Yes, XP. So that's 1308. This is some good numbers, man. There might be some leveling happening. You never know. Oh, Norin no. Zaphael started at 2, so he needs to go to 4,000. He's at 2,000. Okay, then back to it. 40, 70. $885 each. That's enough for levels, I think. 885. Yeah, 885 plus 3418. No, wait a minute. They're already level 2. Wait, Scylla's level 1. I never leveled up Scylla? Wait, what? Okay, she was definitely supposed to start as 2. Right? She's been in the game forever. Kurathair's level 2. How did she not level up? I question, I guess, why she had 4 hit points. Yeah, I never leveled up. She would have at least 5. Wow. Okay, I never did that. Okay, so she gets to go to 3 then. Yeah, they're 3 now. So they're at 4303 out of 8,000. Correct. Those are all the correct numbers. Okay, so she's leveling up twice. I don't know how we fucked that up. Yeah, so she is right. She is now going to roll 2d4 straight up. Okay, so she's at 5. She didn't gain much out of that, but it'll get better. Okay, so now she's going to level up to level 3. We will roll her talent. More backstab damage. Okay, now 3d4 for her hit points. 9, that's the upgrade we want. Excellent. All right, so now her short bow, or like, let's see, with a backstab, 5d4. Holy shit. She has 1 base, another one for level 3 or 2, and then another one for a talent. Unless I got that talent twice. I think maybe I did get that talent twice. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's why it's 5d4 damage. Her backstabs are mean. Holy shit. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's correct. Okay. Awesome. That's it for her then. I mean, it's a pretty good place to be. Her base attacks are still pretty shitty though. 1d4 plus 1 damage. She really desperately wants that backstab every battle. She should never be like part of the group in a dungeon. Like, she should always be scouting ahead or moving around or staying in the rear and popping up like partway into the battle to try to get a surprise on the group, or flanking, or like, she should never just be like, yeah, I'm part of the group, I roll initiative, here you go. Like, she desperately needs a backstab to drop at least 1 target, and then probably she should try to hide again and go for another fight, or another backstab potential. Okay. And then Kurathair is leveling up to 3. +2 to int or +1 spell casting. technically int would be better. We use it for slightly more things than just spell casting. So yes, grab that nice int boost. He's also rolling 3d4 for his hit points. He's going up to 8. Okay. Good. And he gets a new spell, because those are the rules. Shadowdark's generous with spells, and we appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, it's generous with spells. Because by default, you get one every level, and you can learn them from scrolls. Now, whether or not Shadowdark wants you to ever be able to buy spells the way that we did, that's more questionable. But, I mean, we just got really lucky when we went to buy scrolls and learned them. So that was just fortunate on our behalf. Can't fault me for being lucky. So we're going to choose another spell then, and he gets to choose a tier 2 spell now. Ho ho ho. Ha ha ho ho ha ha. That is exciting. So any tier 2 spell of our choice. Look at this list. Oh my god, I almost do want to roll randomly just because there's just so many good options. Dominate Humanoid. That could be pretty darn good. Bloody Flux. Bewitch Humanoid. Burning Sparks. What is Burning Sparks? Let's look at that. I don't think I've read that spell. Range 45. Targets an existing fire within range and line of sight, inflaming it such that it casts out scorching embers at those nearby. Okay, so you can select some or all creatures or objects within 5 feet of the fire. Select as few as many targets as you desire. Each target must make a blast saving throw, or dex. Suffer an amount of damage based on the size of the fire. So a torch would be 1d3. A campfire would be 1d6. Small bonfire 2d6. Large bonfire 4d6. That is a very specific, not amazing spell, I gotta say. I think that's a little underwhelming compared to just like Fan of Flames. Why would I not just cast Fan of Flames? Which is basically a much bigger radius. I can pick the targets I want. They still get a save, and it's 1d8. Unless they're surrounding a bonfire, but it's only within 5 feet of the bonfire. Who's standing 5 feet from a large bonfire? Pretty unlikely, I must say. That's one of the most underwhelming spells I've seen. How about Sunflare? That sounds cool. (180 range). Call down a column of sunfire, 40 feet in height, 20 feet in diameter. Each creature within the area effect must make a blast saving throw. Failing, they suffer 3d6 holy fire damage. Otherwise, they suffer half. Deals double damage against undead. Because it relies on the power of the sun, the spell can only be cast if the caster is standing in direct sunlight. If the spell is targeted at a point indoors or underground, it will strike the ceiling or surface above the desired area effect. If the damage caused to an interposing barrier shatters or breaks through it, Sunflare will continue beyond the barrier in order to attain its full volume. Oh my god, it's like a tac nuke. It's beautiful. It's incredible. We spend most of our times in dungeons right now, but this is why I love the Axe spell list, because it just has all sorts of shit like this. It's just so... yeah. The higher up you go, you just feel like such a badass. Oh, that's so good. It's really tempting. I know most of the time it's going to be useless, but being able to just call down a column of sunfire 20 feet in diameter. And it's 180 feet range. Like, this solves a lot of trouble with wilderness exploration. It's just like... or we just see, like, sheep on the other side of that river. It's like, yeah, I'm up for some fucking mutton. Boom, you know? Yeah. That's so... I'm gonna take Sunflare. Fuck it. That's so badass. Yeah. That... Sunflare, like, single-handedly convinced me to just stick with the Axe spell list from now on. Just glorious. Tier 2, so it's a little harder to cast. Beautiful. mean, how can you look at this and not be like, yeah, that I want to be that guy. I want to be fucking that guy doing that. Or it's like, you know, when you're participating in like a bigger mass combat or something, it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna spend every round calling down Sunflare. Well, it's probably gonna hit your own guys. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I'm all right with that. Sunflare goes burr. Excellent. Yeah, we're gonna add that. I wish I had icons for all these and I could step that all up, but I'm not. I'm too lazy. All right, so then that's good. They leveled up to 3. That's pretty powerful. And Noreen almost halfway. Zaphiel almost 3/4 of the way to level ups. I think this is probably where we would, like I said, buy rations, buy some bandages for sure, buy some healing salves, probably buy some retainers, probably buy a donkey and a cart. You know, really like gear up now for spend all our money on that shit. I am debating whether I want to go back to the Caves of Chaos or say that I'm done there. There isn't really like a good reason to abandon it other than just like, yeah, I'm kind of done with it, you know? Because there is more treasure in there. There's 10 iron ingots worth 200 gold pieces each. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, there's no way those iron ingots are worth 200 gold pieces each. Should we figure out how much they're actually worth? I'd be tempted to say it's a common metal. What metal could be more common than iron? I thought there was something specific about ingots. Yeah, I mean, there's bronze ingots as an example. 1,000 stone, 2,000 gold pieces. Everything's measured by weight. We assume... I mean, whether it's in an ingot or not, I don't think that really matters. Because it's counting 1 stone of ingot as 2 gold, right? One stone of ingot is 2 gold. And if we go back to this chart for common metal, price per stone, 2 gold. So yes. So for these ingots to be worth 200 gold each ingot would have to weigh 100 stone. Or in other words, each ingot would have to weigh 1,000 pounds. And that's how it would be worth 200 gold each. Now, if we kept it to the Shadowdark value and said each ingot was worth 20 gold, then that means that they're each worth 10 stone or 100 pounds. I think that's still way out of the realm of plausibility. If we bump this up to say it's a precious metal, then we get into far more believability, I suppose. Because those are worth 100 gold per 10 pounds. So that means each ingot would weigh 20 pounds. Which we could say. I don't know how much an ingot of metal weighs, but I think that's not that far-fetched. So if we count this as a precious metal instead of just common iron, we're more back in business. What is a precious metal? I think I'd really be curious as to the specifics on that if they have an example. I assume, yeah, gold, platinum, maybe electrum or something. I think we'd have to go, maybe the judges journal would tell you electrum, gold, platinum, silver, or tumbaga. Okay. So if we say that these are platinum, or even silver, let's say they're just silver ingots. It doesn't really care. It says they're all worth 100 gold pieces per stone. So they're all equal value, even though you'd think a platinum ingot would be worth more than silver. But yeah, it doesn't get that anal about it. Surprisingly. very, very surprisingly, it doesn't get that anal about it. So sure, if we say these are silver ingots instead of iron, the math can potentially check out. So, but anyways, there would be 2,000 gold worth of silver ingots in there. But each one would be 2 slots worth, so it'd be 20 slots. But if you bring a cart, whatever. There's a +1 Warhammer, which would be nice to finally have a magic weapon. This place was very sparse on magic weapons and magic armor and magic anything. There's 1,000 gold pieces of tiny gemstones in the buckets in the mine. There's a bronze dagger worth 1,200 gold. Crazy. Couple pearls worth 400 each. Wand of Featherfall. That's kind of about it. It's fine. Yeah, I mean, we could. But yeah, I'd kind of be interested in going back to like throwing out another normal dungeon. Actually, since we're playing Shadowdark, there is one from Chubby Funster that I might be interested in. It's called the Sunless Fane. I don't know what level it's for though. Suggested party level 1 to 2. Yeah, so I could be interested in checking this out. The only problem is, again, the same sort of thing of, like, the conversion rates. But I suppose, like, here's a satchel. 32 silver becomes 32 gold. 81 copper becomes 81 silver. It's like, it's kind of a high-value thing to find in a satchel being used as a pillow in the sleeping quarters of some hobgoblins, but, yeah. I mean, I assume he converted all this down to Shadowdark values. There's a small pile of 13 gold and a cheap copper ring worth 30 gold. Again, we'd probably want to change that to like a cheap gold ring for it to make a bit more sense. Rations, silver trade bar worth 500 gold. Yeah, that's kind of pushing credulity there. It could be a few trade bars. 14 gold and a tiger's eye agate worth 250 gold. Again, that's pushing it pretty high, which is, it's this sort of weird thing. A topaz ring worth 2,800 gold. Yeah, that's crazy. So I don't know if he really cut this down that much. 6,439 silver and 89 gold. 563 gold. Sold as a set for 800 gold. 900 gold each. Two opals and a jade figurine worth 1,200 gold. Silver signet ring worth 380 gold. I'm not saying that I think the totals here are that far off from like a standard BX module and like the total amount of gold you'd walk out of if you got the whole dungeon. I think it's more just like the specific values of specific items. An actual a BX module would spread it out a bit more and make it like more logical and spread it across like 6 gems instead of 1 gem, you know? It would do stuff like that. So I think just a straight conversion isn't the best. Like, it doesn't work in the same direction as converting a BX module to Shadowdark. You'd want to add in just like here, a mummified corpse of the leather belt pouch containing 380 gold pieces. It's just like, it wouldn't really It wouldn't really happen like that. It would probably have some treasure in there outside of that, or some sort of common magic item or something. Yeah, so we could run this, or I could run just like a standard other module that, I mean, I have a lot that I haven't gotten to. I know this was meant to be a keep on the Borderlands thing, but I think we could throw it somewhere else in the Borderlands. Like, we could throw it over here and say there's a dungeon. We heard some rumors in town, and like, oh, you're staying at that keep. You know, there's rumors of this ancient tomb to the north of there. Somewhere there, you know, there's like a barrow mound or something, and a lot of would-be treasure hunters have gone lost up in that area. And it's like, oh, okay, well, maybe we'll check that out. Yeah, just to mix it up a little bit, rather than just keep going back to these caves over and over. We haven't done that well at the caves, but I mean, I guess that's probably how it would go for a normal average group. Like, they kind of have to make multiple trips, and when you're running the full kind of gamut of random encounters, a lot can go wrong on the way back and forth. And I really should have, our first trip back to a settlement, I should have been like, okay, let's get some fucking hirelings and a cart and stuff. We don't want to make this trip too often. But this video has gone on long enough, so I'm going to end it here. Next time we'll do some shopping, and I'll probably have some sort of alternative dungeon laid out for us that we can go investigate. But for now, my name is Mang. This has been Solo Roll Manging. I'll see you fine folks in the next part.